Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. If you missed the live stream, this is another episode of SNTR Gaming, and I'm going to explain housing, why there's good and bad things about it, stuff that you might not know about that could help you. If you like these live stream VODs or the topics or the New World coverage, hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you don't miss my coverage, my live shows, or my gameplay. For those of you that are in the live audience, thank you so much for being here, and this is an SNTR update. New World housing has a lot of things about it that people might not know. They might be a little bit confused by the way it's portrayed in the world. So I wanted to offer some insight into how it works from the official wiki, as well as walk through some of the good and bad things about housing that might help you make a decision about where and when to buy a house in New World. If you like these short update videos, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you don't miss the upload. So I pulled this directly from the New World wiki, and the reason that I did this is I wanted to give you the basic information first before I got into the good and the bad. Now, with the one-time purchase cost, keep in mind your house will have a weekly property tax. Now, the property tax is affected by territory standing and the company that governs that town. If your property tax goes unpaid, you lose access to changing decorations in the house, the bonuses, the ability to host others in your house. Like, you lose all of the benefits. So make sure when you're buying a house, you're going to regularly have gold on hand, or you're going to quickly fall behind on your weekly taxes. Now, a player may physically acquire the same housing location as one or more other players, but they will only be able to see their own property and decorations unless they're visiting somebody else's house. So you're going to go up to a house and it's going to tell you that other people own it, and that might be confusing. You might be like, well, how am I supposed to buy a house? Well, they would have quickly run out of houses if you could only buy one house, if only one person could buy each house. And so you can visit and look at their house. You can't do anything to it, obviously. And whoever has the most points, their house is the one that's sort of displayed in town. And you get points by doing more decoration. So the more they invest and the more they do, the more likely they are to be sort of the leader in points, and their house will be on display. Now, you also get certain in-game bonuses like a recall option. The way that you recall to an inn, it's like 1 to 4 hours depending on the tier level of the house. I'll give you those tiers in just a second. They vary in price, property tax, as well as like how many pets or lights you can put in the house. So depending on that, you may not want to buy the more expensive homes, because sure, you get a lot of other benefits, but then again, you've got to pay more property tax. Each house enables you to place 5 trophies, which give you a global buff to specific professions, luck, or even combat bonuses. Each trophy type can be applied just once per house, so there is some in-game reason to consider owning a house. Now, tier 1 is only 5,000 coin, but your first house purchase, they give you a discount, so it's like 2,500. So keep in mind, all these prices I'm giving to you, they're gonna look different in the game because of the first price, the first buyer's benefit that they give you. All right, you get like 4 hours on the cooldown if you want to fast travel, and your weekly property tax is 250. The next tier up is 10,000. Again, keep in mind they give you a discount. I think that's the tier level I bought, and that gives you a 500 weekly tax rate, and then a 3-hour cooldown. Tier 3 goes up to $15,000 and a $750 weekly tax, but you get a 2.5-hour cooldown on the recall. And then lastly, the 4th tier, $20,000 with a 1,000 weekly, property tax and a 2-hour cooldown on the recall. So I was incorrect in the first half of the video. There isn't a recall that only lasts an hour, right? It's 2 hours. Now, I want to talk about the good, okay? The good. This helps with fast travel, storage, and a sense of investment. You can add a storage crate. Keep in mind that storage crate is the same as the shed in that town, but it makes it have more space, and it does give you that sense of progress. You can kind of decorate and do everything else, and that fast travel is nice. At the end of my play session yesterday, I fast traveled back to my house, dumped everything in the chest. It's kind of a nice way to end your day, end your play session, and then, make sure you're in a house or an inn for the well-rested bonus whenever you log out. Obviously, having multiple houses could be hugely beneficial for traveling and storing, but the taxes could add up, so consider that whenever you're buying a home or a second home. The hope would be that end game and late game would be a healthy flow of coin to keep your taxes paid so that you could continue to reap the benefits of those houses that you've purchased in the game. Now, the bad. I believe there are some things that could be looked at. It seems like a lot of effort and money for very minor payout at first. The fast travel is great, but the storage is just an expansion of the shed in that town, and the fast travel is only going to be essentially probably once per play session, right? Lastly, it can be a bit confusing. I believe the game can be a bit confusing. If you look at a house with little explanation about buying it, it looks like somebody owns it. It looks like, somebody already has it. It's like, well, how am I supposed to buy it? They don't do a whole lot of explanation of how that works. That also relates to the point system. The point system is a cool idea. Whoever invests in their house the most, it sort of gets shown in the town. But again, they don't really tell you how that works. It'd be really, really nice to have that, featured and shown. Like the motivation to really invest in the house is cool, but maybe explained a little bit better. So, if you like these short update videos, if this was helpful and informative to you, hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'll see you, chat, right now. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you guys so much for being here. You can essentially fast travel home from anywhere, anytime. So you can recall just when you're out in the world? Don't you have to be in a place if you're going to fast travel? Can you be like out in a field and just fast travel to your house? I didn't know that was a thing. I did not know that was a thing. This talk is too real. What about like the taxes and the owning a home and all of that? Is it hitting too close to home for you? It might be hitting too close to home for you. You can pay Azoth to recall to your house infinitely. So houses are like a recall. Oh, so you don't have to be it's not considered fast travel. You can just recall from anywhere. That's right. Recalling to an inn doesn't have to be like at a specific location. That's right. Yeah, I mean, that is a nice benefit. I think that is good. And again, if you've got multiple houses, you could conceivably, go to more areas on the map more freely. You wouldn't feel this need to like hoof it back to an area or hoof it back to a town. What have the queue times been like? Have they been okay? I don't want to sit in the game if I don't have to. I prefer not to have the CPU and the GPU and all that working if they can rest this morning. Good morning, Feed. I see you in the chat. How are you, sir? My taxes were going to be cheaper, but now $500 a week, plus my faction lost town control, so that made it worse. Originally, my taxes were going to be $250. I'd like to sell my house. I know, right? I've not had a queue time the last day or so. Okay. You actually logged out for dinner? Okay. No wait this morning for you? Okay. Conserving that power? Well, I mean, every time a computer is running, especially a game like New World, it's pretty demanding. It's wear and tear on the hardware. I'd prefer not to just have it sitting running in the morning for 2 or 3 hours for literally no reason. Now, Barrier says, why put a limit on such trivial things like lights and pets? Well, I think the reason they do it, Barrier, is the size of the house changes. So, I mean, you can buy a pretty little one-room shack, and in their mind, probably, maybe for stability, maybe for just sensibility, or maybe, again, for a sense of prowess, like you've got a bigger house, you can't put as much stuff on the walls in the smaller house. They're going to limit that. Now, you'd run out of physical space pretty quickly in some of the smaller houses, so maybe they don't need to dictate it to you. They could be like, look, you can put as many lights on the walls as you want, but you're going to run out of space really, really quick. You know what I mean? You're getting it all this morning. You already got your chat boss yelling about you being late for work. That person never talks in chat. I don't think they've ever supported me. Maybe they support with a lurk. They've never supported me monetarily. They just show up every once in a while to complain when I'm late. Like, that's literally all they've ever said in chat is something negative about me being late. And I don't. It might be alarming to hear this, but I kind of do whatever I want. Like, you know, it's my business, and heaven forbid in the morning I'm like talking to my family when I'm getting my coffee, and I don't run down here to start right at 9 o'clock on the nose. The real reason that I was late this morning was because I recorded gameplay footage of Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania so we could have a premiere on Presents, and then I realized that the last campfire was active. Hello Games sent me a code for that, so I quickly recorded a 15-minute of that. So I know it's really hard to wait a whopping 10 minutes. I was actually working while you were waiting and tightening and twisting and tying a knot in your underwear. So loosen up a bit. Elitists, the elitist. Thank you so much for doing a membership. I greatly appreciate it. We love to see the members going up over here. We're at about 300. I'd love to see that hit about 500. A lot of you moved over from gaming. Presents. Presents is pretty it's stable. It's a little concerning. We obviously knew moving would be painful. So we appreciate everybody who has either double dipped, moved their membership, or maybe just did a brand new membership over here. Maybe you're a brand new member of our community over here, and we greatly appreciate you being here. We appreciate the support. We appreciate a lot of new subs. Any news is New World going to come to consoles? I'll give you my theory on that, right? I think they're going to put a solid year in and create sort of a content flow, right? They're going to create a content flow. And after they do that for about a year and they get sort of a good idea of what they think is an appropriate flow, game flow, server load, all of that, I think they'll kick it to consoles. You know, it'll take a while though. I think they're going to pull a Black Desert Online. That's my theory. Now, I don't have anything to back that theory. They've not said anything. They've not been like, they didn't like send me an email, you know, to say, hey, you know, we're doing this or we're doing that. It's obviously just a theory. Let me update I didn't update the shirt command. Led Zeppelin. There we go. Led Zeppelin shirt today. I didn't actually get this from the tour, right? I got it from 80s Tees. Master Chief should be a permanent display. There you go. ADJC with a $5 tip. In Final Fantasy XIV, you had to buy a guild house ranging from 2 to 15 million, and you could have your own separate room and a main house. No limits on customization. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, ADJC. I don't think it's as big of a focus. So we will obviously, you know, wait and see if they add any more customization. You know, US Tour 73. Yeah, is it 73? No, is it? No, that's 77. Yeah, 77. I was born in 81, but I know good music when I hear it, right? So when I saw this Led Zeppelin shirt on 80s Tees, I had to snag it. I really did. So I think they're waiting for next-gen consoles to be the dominant consoles because I don't think this game will run on the current gen very well. Yeah, I agree with that. 100% agree that they would likely have to make this a next-gen only thing. PS5, Xbox Series X. We will be playing Far Cry 6 today. I mean, it's installed on my PlayStation 5. I know it's getting like the cliche reviews of like, yeah, you know, it's more Far Cry, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. If the game comes out, you know, every couple of years and is similar to its predecessors, like I don't have a problem with that. The Master Chief display is nice. It is. It's very, very nice. Sure looks like cashmere. Get that? That's very, very funny. It's very funny. I got it. First house is half. That's right. Let's get a poll going. Since the console question came up, New World on console, would you play it? New World on console, would you play it? And that could be even if you're playing now. Even if you're playing now on PC. Ink Sanity renewing that membership and getting a blue joystick. Welcome back, Inc. I appreciate that. Even if you're currently playing on PC, I'm curious, would you play it on console? I would. I would play it on console. I'd sit in my living room and farm. It'd be amazing. I'd be all comfy on my couch with a controller, just chopping trees down. You know what I mean? Looking forward to Far Cry, but probably going to wait to get it on sale. Yeah. Absolutely, but I would be homeless. That's right. If there was cross-save, then maybe. Right, obviously what I'm saying, I'm assuming there would be crossplay, like, hey, you know, I want to go and work on something, you know, grind a little bit. As long as crossplay for sure. Oh, DBS Purge, I just saw you were one of the people that liked my tweet. That tweet's doing pretty well. Pay attention. Pay attention, chat. Pay attention. Eyes on the horizon, baby. Eyes on the horizon. Pay close attention. The future is potentially going to be very interesting. I played Far Cry 6 today. It feels great. All the reviews are saying it's just a Far Cry. That's not really a criticism, though. Like, what did they expect? Suddenly you were going to be in a spacesuit fighting Martians and flying and... You know, you were going to have a jetpack, yeah? Any New World today? Yes, we will play New World before we play Far Cry. Yes. We want to continue to grind that game, make progress. Today we're working on the campaign. I hit level 30 so we can continue the campaign. What's it called? The Syndicate something? It's like New World, the Syndicate's... Oh, gosh. The Syndicate Support is the name of the campaign portion that we are on. It's a funny critique. They don't say that about COD or Halo. Right, like, have you ever... You know what I mean? Have you ever... Praying for you, been for a year now. You were done dirty. I appreciate that. I've been praying for that platform to get hurt. Little did I know that it was going to happen to such a degree. I mean, I didn't mean to manifest that. Like... Holy moly, I didn't mean to manifest that. It was like in Lost when she said something about her ex-husband getting hit by a bus, and he did. It was like, huh? It can be just a Far Cry, and I love it. I play Far Cry games, and I love them. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I loved a bit when the dude said it's just a joke. Yeah, he went, it's just a joke, and then he blocked me and deleted the tweets. It's funny how they're so big and brave, and then the minute you fight back, they become cowards. Yeah, that was entertaining, Ashen. Blocked me and deleted the tweets. What a brave and valiant man. Does anyone remember what they were going to do with Blood Dragon? Aren't they just, like, updating it and throwing it into, like, a collector's edition or something? I know they're doing something with the 3 villains. They're doing something with Vaz, Min, and the Preacher Man. They're doing something with them, and then I thought they were doing something with Blood Dragon as well, like maybe updating it, remastering it, or something to that degree. Our New World gameplay yesterday was a little bit later in the day. Joseph C., there it is. It was a little bit later in the day, and we bought a house, so I thought New World housing explained. New World, house buying, that's a big thing that people are thinking about. They're like, well, when do I do it and how do I do it? I have 7,000 gold. When should I buy a house? So if you have 7,000 gold and you are at a level where you are sort of traversing a lot of different areas and then maybe there's a nice central hub that you gravitate toward, that would be a good place to buy a house. Sometimes you can have, because then you can recall to different inns. So think about it like this. Like, if there's a nice central town that you really like, and let's say a lot of the crafting tables and things have been leveled up, that's a great place to have a house, because your house is going to increase your storage in that town once you put the storage in the house. And the storage in your house and the shed storage, you don't have to pull anything out of there. You can just craft in that town, and it just pulls from those places. And then if that's your central hub, right, you can start to then recall to different inns. Like, let's say you just hit level 35 and you want to go to a new area and start working on side quests there. Well, if you're going to grab a bunch of side quests and bounty boards and town boards and this and that board, well, check in at that inn so that when you're done doing everything, you can just recall back to that inn and turn everything in. And then when you're done, or maybe you need to dump all your storage from all of your pillaging and all of your fighting, well, then you recall to your house, dump it all in. So you can create a really, really nice content loop for yourself that's not so hampered, and your house can be a significant portion of that. You also get to decorate it. You can make it look cooler. I've got like a dog. I've got a fireplace. I'm hanging stuff on the wall. It's just kind of cool. It's kind of nice to have like a place in the game that you feel that you are directly investing in, as opposed to just sort of like randomly going from town to town to town. Something you really want to look at, and you can look at this on the map, is you can go to a settlement and you can say, show me the details of this settlement. It'll tell you the level of all the crafting tables. So if you're at like a really early place, like that's where I bought my house, just because that's where I wanted it. I was like, well, this is where everything's stored. You know, this is owned by our our faction. The other factions are probably never going to mess with it, right? You get buffs with a house. There are New World trophies that you can put in your house that will then give you in-game buffs. Yes. I don't know what they all are, but there are in-game benefits to having trophies in your house. Yes. As long as you're paying your property tax. You lose all those benefits if you're not paying your property tax. You know what I mean? You can see that on the map. I've been walking. No, yeah. You can highlight a settlement, and then down at the bottom it says settlement details or something. Click on that, and this menu slides out. It'll show you what every level is, like their crafting, their cooking, their smelting. All of that's there to show you like what each level is. So like if you're trying to make something and you know that the table needs to be at like a level 3 or 4 or whatever, you can know that before you go to the town. So, multiple people can own the same house, and then only you can see what yours looks like. Yes, you can look at the other people's houses if you want. You can't do anything to it, but like if you want to walk around somebody's house, like whoever has invested the most in their home, they get points for all the decorative things that they do. So whoever has the most points, when you walk by that house in the town, their house is the one that's put on display. So if you really go crazy and you just put stuff everywhere to make your house look dope, then your house would be the one on display. You'd have the most points. Now, you're going to have a hard time doing that because some of these people are really taking the housing serious. I mean, New World housing is like its own endgame for some people. The one guy's house was nuts. It was like all pirate ship stuff. He had like a tiller out in front, the wheel. He had all these decorative things. I was like, oh my word. Like you could tell this guy had spent time. He had spent time getting as much as he could for his house. And that, I think, is an incentive that more people, it'd be cool if they explained it a little bit more, because if more people understood that, then you'd obviously be having a competition, like keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like you're in a house with a bunch of other people. You can't see them. You can't see their stuff unless you want to. And then you're investing and you're getting points, and they're investing and they're getting points, and you're basically trying to, outdo them so that your house becomes the one on display in the town. Create a demand for New World house flipping. Well, I don't think you can house flip. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can, can you build up a house and then sell it? I don't think so. I watched a video about why you should get housing last night, and I've been convinced it's not just for the bonus storage, fast travel, or decoration. What is it? Well, it would be for the in-game buffs, wouldn't it? The trophies, I would think. If you get permanent in-game buffs, as long as you're paying your property taxes. How do you get storage in the house? The armoire I bought won't open. It feels like a stupid question. There are storage chests you can craft or buy. Yeah. The pirate stuff is a cash shop bundle. Oh, so he bought all that stuff. The higher tier your house, the smaller the cooldown on fast travel. Yeah. I mean, in my mind, Distorted Sama, the difference between like waiting for 2 hours or 3 hours, that's not that big of a deal for me. Do you want to know why? You usually don't need to recall to your house for the first hour or so of your play session. So unless you're really putting in super long play sessions, Yeah, you're going to use your house like once. And when you use it, at that time in your play session, are you going to play for another 3 hours? Are you going to play for another 4 hours? I'm not. Now, some people might. But the average person is going to use that house and be like, cool. Oh, the cooldown's 2 hours? Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to play for another 2 hours, right? I know it ranges from 4 to 2 hours. Yeah, I went through that this morning. I basically read through the wiki for a video for people. I opened today's stream with all of the info about that. Hello all, I would definitely play on console. Yeah, if you're new and just tuning in, I'm actually interested. Would you play this game on console? I'm going to use that 2-hour cooldown. What's good, Die Bear? Good to see you. Saw your comment on Twitter last night. Thank you so much. Well, yeah, I could see the 2-hour cooldown. I could see playing for another, 2, maybe 3 hours and being like, okay, that cooldown's going to come in handy. My play flow is different. I use my house recall 3 to 10 times per play session. Gee, money, you are putting in the work then. You're putting in the work. I'm putting in 2 or 3 hours a day, so that's why I'm just kind of like, I would never need a house cooldown. But the 4-hour one, I think I got the 3-hour one. The 3-hour one is fine. I would do it near the end of my play session one time. Even if I recalled to my house at the very beginning of my play session, I wouldn't benefit from my cooldown right now. I don't play long enough, Just use it when you're done to cash on everything. That's basically what I was doing. I was like, well, I'm done. My New World gameplay session is over, so I'm going to go back and dump everything in storage. What's good, Mr. Jake? See a lot of investment on fast travel in the game. It means there'll be no mounts or fast travel. We talked about this, and maybe I should make a video about, mounts. Like, why are there no mounts in the game? Why would adding them be incredibly risky, right? A team carried me through Amrine yesterday for my first run. They were all level 40 plus, and they didn't give a crap that I was 21. Groups have been super gatekeepy with LFG. Curious your thoughts. Groups, are you saying they have been super gatekeepy? So you're saying that they were all level 40 and they didn't care that you were 21. So are you saying you got lucky, or are you saying this is an example that they are not gatekeepy? The cooldown doesn't matter, Lono. You can just spend a small amount of Azoth to reset the cooldown. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. I mean, that really changes it as well. You start having houses everywhere, and you're rich with Azoth. Although we heard yesterday from some people that are a little bit later in the game, and they're like, dude, it is expensive late game to travel. Like, you eat through your Azoth super, super fast. The more I watch about this game, it makes me want to play this more on console. Yeah, sorry, a lot of groups have been extremely gatekeepy with Amrine, and this is the first team that didn't care. Well, with respect, Sven, okay, you're 21. That's not gatekeepy. I'm not trying to be mean, but, like, it's not my job to help you play something before you should. That's not being gatekeepy. Now, if you're 25, 26, 27, and people are being like, no, we only want level 30s, and we only want this, why do they give you the quest at 21 then? Some of the quests are oddly timed, but you have to look at the recommend on it. The recommend on it says 25. So I think sometimes they give you a quest as like a goal. They're like, hey, you got to do this. You're not quite ready yet. I've gotten plenty of those, right? I've gotten plenty of those. I got a quest for the advancement of my faction at 20, and this is, I think, a glitch. You can't even see it or go do it until you're like 24 or 25. Then don't give me the quest until 25. Well, if they give you a quest at 21 and you go look at the quest and it says recommended level 25, that's not necessarily, I don't think, out of turn, right? The expectation is that you group up and run through the dungeon if you're 21, but the quest tells you that it's 25. Do you know what I'm saying? If it said 21, Sven, I would be on your side. I would be like, you gave me the quest at 21. It recommends 21. Why are people being gatekeepy? Thank you for renewing your membership, Die Bear. Welcome back. Enjoy the joystick. Do you see what I'm saying? when the quest says the recommended level, right? You get the quest for the level 45 dungeon at level 40 as well. Right, they're giving you a goal. You're level 40, here's a quest for a level 45 dungeon. Get to work, right? If you're following the main story regardless of level, there will be points where you have to take time to grind to level. Right, and that's a bigger story, that's a bigger subject in general, right? That's a bigger conversation in general. Is that does leveling need to just be streamlined and linear, like as long as you're doing quests and side quests, you're at the level of everything? Or is it okay to drop a quest in your lap and be like, yeah, this is a level 25 quest. Why are you giving this to me now? I'm 21. Well, it gives you a goal. It gives you something to go, you know what I mean? I guess I just don't agree with that kind of quest design. I mean, I have all kind of quests in my inventory right now, Sven, that are like 38, 35, and I just hit 30. Now, some of that's because I wandered into areas and I did a side quest, and they gave me the next one, and the next one was really high. You're going to notice that too. This is not the first time this is going to happen to you. You're going to go grab a side quest from a guy, and it's going to be like 20. Cool. And you do it, and then you come back, and he's like, can you do this other thing for me? And you're like, yeah, sure. 25. And you're like, what? And you'll do that one, and you'll turn it in. And then the next one he gives you will be level 30, right? You know. So, also, I hate this convo. No one is entitled to another person's time. It's not gatekeeping to refuse to play with lower level people. Right, like, here's the thing, though. If you're 25, 26, 27, and you're going up to the door of this dungeon, and people are like, we only want to go in with level 30s, okay? Number one, they might be hurting themselves because you don't need to be that stringent, but that's their prerogative. It's their play session. If they have found that when you go in with level 30s, you beat it way faster. You can just run through. Nothing's challenging. We don't even need healing. Let's just all go DPS, right? You like the shirt? It's another great one from 80s Tees, man. That's their prerogative. That is. Now, are they potentially cutting off their nose to spite their face? Because the difference of completion time is probably pretty marginal. Like, if you got a whole group of 30s and I come in as a 26 healer, you're going to beat it just as fast. Like, I'm going to be able to throw healing on the ground. You're not going to have to stop and heal. You're not going to have to stop and, do potions or food or anything. I'm going to keep you all healthy, and we're going to run through. Now, sure, if I was a level 30 DPS, maybe we could shave a few minutes off. But come on, man. There's not you don't need to be that stringent about it. You don't. So, I mean, I do think that some people, it's completely their prerogative. It is their play session. It's their Friday night. If they've got 2 hours and they know we can snag a level 30 DPSer and we can run this dungeon super fast and then move on to the next thing that we're doing. The question sometimes you have to ask them is it worth waiting for the level 30 when you could go in right now? Whatever time you think you're going to save, you're wasting it by frickin' standing here, right? You're wasting it by standing here. You can try and reason with people and be like, all right, well, you're losing time right now. So if 3 or 4 minutes goes by, I'm still here. Feel free to send me an invite. You're wasting time right now. You could be 3 to 5 minutes into the dungeon. What are you doing? But at the same time, I'm not going to scold them, and I'm not going to wag a finger and be like, how dare you only want to play with level 30s. Like, I'm not going to do that. Cataclysmic renewing the membership and getting a blue joystick. Welcome back, my man. Thank you. Sometimes you don't have time for the less prepared players. Right. The first time I did the 25 dungeon, it was with 2 buddies, and we were around 25. It was challenging and fun because of it. We couldn't even beat the boss. We came back with 5 and blew through it. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a different plan of attack. Everybody has a different plan of attack. And when you're going to do a dungeon, you're going to do a new world dungeon, your new world gameplay is yours. You can't, and I understand where Sven is coming from. It can be a little alarming, confusing, and even irritating to be like, oh, sweet, I got this quest to finally go do that dungeon. I'm going to go do it. And you get there and people are like, what the frick are you doing here, man? You're like, what? I'm like, you're level 21, bro. Get out of here. And you're like, huh? I don't understand. I get that. It upsets and disrupts your expectations. Your expectations are, I got this dungeon, finally the first one, let's go check it out, and then you get dirt kicked in your face. And, you know, to a certain extent, there is, I think, some quest delivery and scaling flaws in this game. I do. I think they messed some of it up. Like, I get a quest at 20 for my faction, I can't even frickin' see the dadgum thing. How do I know it's actually a 24? And how do I know that I'm supposed to go talk to this guy in this town? There's no waypoint on the map. I think some of the questing is bugged. I do. It's possible that getting a quest for a 25 dungeon is by design because it gives you something to aspire to. It does. But when you're consistently getting quests and things that aren't working or aren't opening or not showing up right, it does kind of make you wonder, like, is this on purpose? You know, did you intend a bunch of people to grab a quest, get really excited, run all the way up into the forest, and then find out that they're too weak and that no one's going to play with them? Like, is that really what you want to do? Or were they just banking on people being like, oh, no, yeah, check the level on it, which... You know, to be fair, I think that's actually a fair expectation, that you check the level expectations of the quest, you know. Like, and here's what's funny. I literally got a faction quest yesterday, and it was like, level up to 30 to continue. Like, it just flat out told me. It was like, the frick, what are you doing? Level up to 30. And I leveled up to 30, and then the quest changed. Like, it literally changed. Like, it had different bullet points, you know. So I think I think sometimes they could afford to say, here's your dungeon quest, sweet, and it'd be like, get level to 25. Like that'd be your first assignment. You know what I mean? Keep in mind the PvE isn't perfect, but it was added in after the fact to a PvP only game. Not perfect, but didn't turn out so bad either. I mean, that is a helpful context to remember here. This game was originally going to be always open world PvP. Just you get freaking attacked wherever you go. We would not be playing this game if that were the case. I would not play a game like that. Absolutely freaking not. Wandering across some field to go kill a cow, and then I'm going to get jumped by marauders, you know, live players. No thanks. DBS Purge coming in and doing a membership. Thank you so much. So many members this morning. It does support the channel directly, supports me directly. It is free to subscribe if you haven't clicked subscribe yet. We hit a pretty nice milestone yesterday of 7,000 subs. Thank you for that. We'd love to hit a milestone of 400 members. So if you've never done a membership on YouTube, it's the join button, or you can use the join command in chat. It gets you a badge, it gets you emotes, it does get you increased access in our Discord. So if you are looking for people to play New World with, we are trying to build a happy little home here for folks that enjoy New World. From a standout tactical shooter to a run and gun arcade shooter, how hard have you fallen? So I guess are people not enjoying the are they not enjoying Battlefield? I didn't enjoy Battlefield as a solo player, but I certainly could see the appeal for people that like Battlefield or team up with their buddies. Like, I was pretty hard on the game yesterday for the lobby balancing crap that I experienced, but at the same time I said, like, man, you group up with some buddies, this game is probably a dadgum blast. You know what I mean? It looks beautiful and sounds beautiful. It's just, if you go in on your own, you're probably going to have a hard time, you know? But I didn't turn around like, this game's trash, so bad. You know, play with your buddies and you'll probably have a ball. You're enjoying the beta solo? I don't know. I did not enjoy the beta solo. I had one good game and then it was like, oh hey, you should be playing with against all these really good players. I don't know. It's getting negative feedback, but it's mostly the camera shake. You can turn that off. I turned it off. That's one of the first things I did. I was trying to sub on my phone. As I was watching you, it wouldn't let me join, so I went and grabbed my laptop to join. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, DBS. I got my butt whooped in Battlefield yesterday, but that's the players. The game itself felt good, looked good, seems promising. Yeah, you just got to be careful with games like that, man. You got to be careful. You go in by yourself and it can really be bad. I played the beta and requested a refund after an hour. Really? It's getting a lot of criticism from Battlefield fans. Lots of removed and watered down features from previous titles. Oh, really? Wow. Huh. Wish I could pull chat logs to show you my experience. I wouldn't BS chat. High-level players will take low-level players in to run all the time. It's a free run for them, so I call BS on gatekeeping it. I don't call BS on gatekeeping it. I know gamers and I know people. I guarantee you there are people that are like, no, I'm not playing with you. There are plenty of people right now that will not take lower-level people through, and that's their choice. That's totally their prerogative. I would never bash anybody that's doing that, but I certainly wouldn't act like that's not happening. It is happening, guaranteed. It's just a beta. I'm sure there isn't much there since, when was the beta been the full game? Since Titanfall 1, since Outriders, since, I don't know, like every beta is basically the full game. They just give you a slice of it. That's the game. What you're playing right now, if you play Battlefield, that's it. That's the game. New World's beta. It was basically the game. There weren't not any significant changes in between New World's beta and the launch. Do you know how development works? Did you see my restaurant waiting comment? It's pretty spot on. And how most operate. Oh, no. I love a good food analogy. I liken it to restaurant. I will wait 45 minutes to get a table, no problem. But if I come in right away, get a table, and wait 20 minutes for a drink, order, I'm ticked. Right, so you're saying you'd rather wait and go in with the team than get in a little bit quicker and have a bad experience. I get it. I like your shirt, thank you. People blew by the level for Amrine and now want it to be easy mode. Speed runs now since they're higher level than the 25. They go outside the dungeon and say you have an orb. Boom, grouped instantly. Well, turn that into your ticket in then. Just make those orbs. Make those orbs, baby. You know, yeah, I would think that'd be tough, though, because you got to grind the corrupteds to get the stuff to make the orbs. So you got to be at least... you know, a 20, you know. I love Seinfeld. What? Why'd you say I love Seinfeld? I took a drink of my Red Bull this morning and felt something go into my mouth. You got bit by a hornet? How does that happen? How did a hornet just get into your drink? I've never understood how that happens to people. And how does it not bump your lip? Like, do you drink like this? Like, I drink... and my lips are fairly close to the can. So it would, like, if there was a wasp, hornet, or bee in my drink, it would, like, come up. It wouldn't get into my mouth. What do you just open wide like in the movies, like, and just, like, pour it in? Why are you drinking that way? I don't... What happened to the red glasses? They're too reflective. In this scene that we've set up, with how I'm sitting, I can't minimize the reflections. I really like them. You know what I mean? Some people gulp from a can, though. I like wearing them. I think they look really dope. And they're really great for eye strain, but It looks like I'm in a space station. You can't see my eyes. It, like, kills the immersion. I have to, like, keep my head down. Do you know what I mean? Lono out here gatekeeping drinking. I just have never understood that. I'm like, I got news for you, dude. If there was a bee or something that got into my drink, number one, that sucker ain't getting into my mouth. That's for sure, right? That ain't happening. HyperX glasses. I know. I tried to reach out to them and go through their application process, and it was awful. Like, it just kept failing. They had an application process where, like, you put in your YouTube channel, and, like, it just failed. And I DM'd them, and they were like, yeah, sorry, just try again or clear your cache. And I was like, cool, bye. That was the end of the conversation. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to, I am way too busy to troubleshoot your application process. I'm an engineering inspector. I opened it and left my car to check on the work site. My mouth was only open a tiny bit, and I felt it touch my upper and lower lip, and then I got stung. Oh, so it didn't, like, fully get inside your mouth. Okay. It was a tiny hole. I panicked because it was something random in my drink. Mouth wasn't gaping or anything. Okay, all right. People have always told those stories. They're like, yeah, I was at a cookout and took a drink of my Coke, and a bee got in my mouth. I'm like, the frick? What? How? They're decent-sized insects. You know what I'm saying? I guess you're a gulper. Like, you're just like, you just pour it in. Like, if it hits your lips and stings you, okay, I believe that. Who the frick's gonna think that's gonna happen? You know what I mean? Stung just above my teeth. Okay, well, that's painful as frick. What you need to do with any kind of a beer can, Coke can, Red Bull can, or whatever, when you're out and about like that, you take that tab and you spin it around. You can still drink just fine, but it blocks from things crawling down in there. I mean, obviously, like if an ant crawls up the side of the can and can get in, but the bigger guys, the flies, the wasps, the honeybees, they can't get in. It's blocked. You also can flip that around and put a straw in there in the hole of the tab. That's just a really, really good outdoor drinking life hack. You're drinking something outdoors and ouch, what the frick? And you don't want something to get in your can. You spin that tab around, baby. Ain't nothing crawling down in there, right? You know, that's genius. I'll have PTSD for the rest of my life now. Yeah, but you ain't ever getting stung again. You turn that little tab around. You know what I mean? I came for the New World Housing, and I left with life tips. Yeah, if you're tuning in for New World Housing information, I opened up the live stream with essentially all the information you need. You can rewind the live stream and watch it. It's maybe 4 minutes. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Hit subscribe so you can talk in chat. We'll do our best to answer your questions and give you some assistance. We have a company, we have a server, we have a Discord. We're here as a resource for you if you're working through that kind of stuff. Reddit's destroying Battlefield. That's what I do. I always spin the tab around. I'm telling you what, eating outside, just one fly makes my blood boil. I'm like, get the frick out of here. The flies were so bad, we had to make homemade fly traps and get fly tape. Like, they are so freaking bad. They're so, I don't know what's going on. It's just that time of year, I guess. I swear we ate outside regularly like last year, and it wasn't happening like this. I was like, what is going on? Did somebody just have like rotting meat somewhere in the neighborhood? Like, it's so bad. I will trust my regular Battlefield shills for reviews. I can sit here and give you an honest review of Battlefield 2042 as someone who didn't have the greatest of times. Like, I had a great first game and then 2 terrible games. And even I can tell you, it's worth playing. Like, just play with your buddies, communicate, squad up, and play the game the way it's designed and intended. It's not really built for solo players. Now, there are people that can play solo and have a good time, but that's my recommendation, right? That's my recommendation, is going with some buds. You know, and we're going to play the game. We're going to use Portal and try to do fun stuff and come up with fun game modes. But, like, I'm not going to sit here and act like, well, I had a bad time, so the game is trash. Like, that, I never want that to be my measure of review. Like, well, I had a couple of bad games, so this game sucks. I will say it's got issues. There's hit detection. There's some weird latency. There's all kind of odd stuff. You know what I mean? My problem with Battlefield is I feel I never get to explore. It's always shoot 2 people, die. I'm also bad at it, so no matter where you drop. It is, I think, from an enjoyment perspective, the reason I struggle to enjoy Battlefield, even my first game where I had a pretty good game and I got 20 kills and assists, and we overtook a couple of locations, I still didn't feel like we did that much to, you know, I didn't feel like we did that much. I didn't contribute that much, you know? You feel like a drop in the ocean. It's just so much going on. explosions. And the explosions and the helos flying over and the booms and the pows, that's all cool for like the first 45 minutes. And then after that, you want to win, you want to get kills. And when that's not happening, or it's tough for that to land on your brain, you know? It doesn't land on your brain. You're like, I don't know. Are we winning? Winning and losing feel very similar in games of that scale. Now, yesterday when we were losing that one game, we were getting farmed. I mean, we couldn't do anything. We would spawn, walk 10 feet, and get blasted. You know what I mean? It was rough. Usually one or two good squads can dominate a lobby. Oh, yeah. You're just going to eviscerate all the solo players. Yeah. Yeah, and you can't communicate with the vast majority of your team. Yeah, if you want that sense of communication and achievement and working on stuff, man, you got to you're gonna need to pull people together and play, or you're gonna get real frustrated. I don't know. I might have even had there were people watching yesterday that thought I had bots on my team. They're like, these guys are acting like bots, dude. They're just standing around looking at stuff. It'll get better when the full game. We'll get more maps and guns and stuff. I really enjoy the beta. Only thing for me is that killing someone and then finding out it's a bot kills the hype. Oh, yeah. Bots in games, in PvP games, are a scourge, dude. They're a freaking scourge. I know why they do it, but I hate it. There's just a part of me that's like, no. You can take my 7 free kills away and hurt my stats. Don't even put them in the dadgum game. Get them the frick out of here. When I would kill bots in Fortnite, it was so unsatisfying. Just a brain-dead player just running. Like, what is this? Why is this even in here? But, gotta give those casuals somebody to shoot, you know? You had some bots and some first-time Battlefield people. Yeah, they thought I was an all-star. I had one good game, and they're like, surely you can carry a team of bots? Halo Infinite bots were pretty good. They actually weren't bad. You could tell they turned up the difficulty sometimes. You're like, holy frick. First few games in Splitgate made me think I was a god, then I realized they were all bots. Oh, yeah. That's how they get you in Splitgate. That's how they get you. How many people right now in the audience have a house in New World? How many of you are playing and actually have a house in New World? I'm actually curious. Now, I know a lot of you aren't playing, which is why we have the poll. If you haven't taken the poll yet, it is New World on console. Would you play it? 63% have said yes. Now, again, that's even if you play on PC, because I would play on console, especially if you got cross-save. You know what I mean? Ham sandwiches, I do. I bought the cheapest. Okay. I bought a tier 2. No playing, no house. Yeah, lightly. No house, level 34. Okay, not yet. Only level 7 so far. I don't know the reason to get one. I'm playing why buy a house. You can recall to it from anywhere, the way that you can recall to an inn. The recall does have a cooldown like the inn does. It'll increase your storage in that town's shed. So New World housing has benefits for you. You can decorate it. Obviously, if you're into that, you might not be. But and then if you get some of the trophies, the New World housing trophies actually offer in-game buffs, like permanent in-game buffs. So while you're running around, you'll be getting those buffs from your house. So I need money for a house. Not different from real life. Didn't you give me money so I could buy a house? I'm about to buy my second. Restless Shore is awesome. So you're about to buy your second house. Okay. Yeah, the taxes can get a little wild. Yeah. The taxes can get a little wild. I'm waiting to see the result of the war in Windsward before buying a house. Okay. Hoping Syndicate wins that one. Yeah, that is one element of house buying that I think could turn kind of sour. I think it could turn sour if you all of a sudden lose you lose the faction ownership. Christina submitted a question. If you buy the cheap house, can you still upgrade it? I guess I'm not sure what the difference is between the tiers of the houses. You cannot upgrade it. No, you can't upgrade it. That's it. That's the house. So there's 4 tiers of house. They go up in price. They go up in property tax. They go up in size, space, how many lights, pets, and storage furniture pieces you can put in, and all those things go up each time you buy an upper tier house. And the cooldown on the fast travel gets better each time. It's like 4 hours, then like 3.5, then like 3, then like 2. Like the fast travel, cooldown gets better each time, depending on the tier. And the taxes go up. So I mean, it gets pretty expensive. Like the top tier house, it's like $1,000 a week for the taxes on that house. So, no house, says Vinny. I spread my resources to other towns for storage. I run everywhere mostly and fast travel very little, so I'm always topped off with Azoth. There you go. I'm going to focus on gathering and crafting before I can buy a house. Yeah, some people want to get their skills up first. That's what they want to focus on. What happens if you can't pay your property taxes? They do not take your house if you can't pay your property taxes. They disable all your benefits. Like, you can't edit the house, you don't get any of the stuff, you can't do it, you can't fast travel, you can't do, all of your benefits go away until you pay the taxes. Yeah. How are the school taxes? Oh, and you need territory standing as well. That's right. Old Soul's good to point that out. You can't just wander into a new territory and buy a house. Like, if you want the tier 1 house, you need at least a 10 territory standing to buy it. You need a 15 for the next tier, and then 20 for the next, and then 30 for the next, I believe. So it's like 10, 15, 20, 30. So you got to invest in that territory. If you haven't done anything in that territory, you won't have a level. So you've got to really, really be grinding an area before you can buy a house. This is a game, right? Yes, it's a game. Yeah. Are we talking about a game? I'm waiting for you to talk about an escrow. Yeah, we're talking about an actual video game. So yeah, that's how it works. You got to invest in the area on the map and get that level up, and then you got to have the money, and then you got to consistently have enough money to pay for the property taxes every 7 days or whatever. I think there's like a certain amount of time before it's due you can pay it as well, just so you know, like, I might get low on funds. I better pay this now while I've got money. This money's burning a hole in my pocket. I'm going to pay the taxes now. I think because mine's due in 7 days, but I can pay it in 4 days or something. Can you sell houses to other players? I do not think there's a method to do that right now. I don't know if they would ever have a means or a reason to do that, because it's something that you've invested in. Now, if you take the time to invest in it and make it awesome and decorate it and get a bunch of points and, you think it's dope, and then some faction comes in and takes over, and you're like, man, I don't like this. They took over, now everything's more expensive. It would be cool if you had the option to try to sell it to somebody in that town. Like, you could list the house and say, here's everything it comes with. So instead of buying a tier 2 for 10,000 with nothing in it, you can buy mine for 20,000, and it's like, it's got all of the finest amenities. Can you trade in the game? Yeah, you can. You can trade in the game. I wish you could go in a house with a friend, though. I think you can. They can come in your house and look at it. But you can't. I don't know. No, you can take people in. I think you can take like up to 5 people in your house. I'm fairly certain I read that on the wiki. You can do like a party, like you can like pull people in and like show them around. And then they can always go to that town and they can pick to explore your house. You can explore anybody's house that's there. You can't do anything to it, Yeah, you can take folks in. Unless you're Lono, you just embezzle funds from the coffee company. Yeah, I just pull stuff out of the treasury and buy whatever I need. You guys keep putting that money in there, and we'll be okay. We'll be able to keep the cash flow going. I'll keep you guys safe out there. You wouldn't want to be out in the middle of nowhere and suddenly an accident happens. And if we've got funds in the treasury, then that's going to help with that accident prevention. We don't want to see anybody hurt. We don't want to see anybody, lose a limb or break their ankle next to a bear cave. I mean, that would be tragic. And if the treasury funds are flowing, then It's good bet. It's good bet those accidents aren't going to happen. You know, that accident prevention fee is very, very worth investing in. That'd be so good. Like, shake down people in your company. Like, you get out in the middle of nowhere and you're like, so, hey, buddy. And he turns around. It's like, why are you armed? Well, you know, I was just thinking. You haven't put any money in the treasury in a while. It's like, what are you doing? Back off. You like attack him, leave him for dead. And like, sorry, man. These things happen. It was an accident. There's some latency or something, you know? I don't know. I don't know what happened, but hopefully that bear over there doesn't smell that blood. So I'll see you back at town, though. All right. Can we push for a claim in the company? I don't think so. The real Lono shows his face. I would be a ruthless gangster. I would be so ruthless. I would be ruthless. You know? Because I'd say it all with a smile on my face. I'm like, I think he just threatened us. Did he just? I think he did. I don't know. He's kind of short, though. It doesn't really scare me, you know? I want to see our logo at first light. Oh, like try to take over. I don't know if you can do that. Have you tried flagging for PvP? No, and I'm really glad we didn't. We went up to like some cemetery to do some mission, and we were all together, me and a couple of guys. It was like me and three guys. It was like Manny and I forget who else was there. It was a couple of you guys. And I literally, before we got there, said, yeah, maybe we should be flagging for PvP since we're always together. People probably wouldn't really mess with us if they see us in a group and we're just questing. And then as I said that, we crest over this hill into this cemetery, and there was like 15 yellow faction guys all flagged for PvP. And I was like, oh my gosh, they would have killed us. They would have absolutely mobbed and murdered us, you know? They would have murdered us. Absolutely murdered us. Is there a video where you discussed the purple leaks? I discussed it a little bit yesterday and gave my thoughts. I think if you go like 8 or 9 minutes into the video, you know, I start talking about it. I was still talking about it like 24 minutes into yesterday's VOD. It was pretty lengthy. Man, we're not having a good day today. Okay. Maybe this isn't a big topic. It's possible. Yeah, it looks like not a lot of people are searching for New World housing. So we'll have to think of another way to frame these discussions. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe tomorrow we could touch on the console, the mount thing. It seems like the mount, the mount would be a good topic. A lot of people keep asking about mounts. The Purple Leak showed that Doc made $3 million between 2019 and 2021, and he was banned half of that. I thought people said they couldn't find him on the financials. They said they couldn't find him in there. They said they couldn't find him and they couldn't find me. So it sounds like maybe people did find him. I think there's a lot of discussion about factions. Yeah, we could talk about faction balance. Like, it's really, really, it doesn't seem like they even care. You know what I mean? Whatever happened to flag for PvP, it's better. I never said that it wasn't, that wasn't better. It was theorized that he was unknown. Oh, he was the unknown. Are there any other unknowns listed? Because like I wasn't in the top 10, but man, we were. Well, no, 2019 wasn't as good. It was the first half of 2020 where, in the first 6 months of 2020, I made what I made in 2019. Like, I had already made 2019's income in the first 6 months of 2020. So the growth patterns for me started in 2020, which is why I probably won't show up. I didn't get to finish my strongest year. So you'd be wrong to think 5 people is enough to flag for PvP. You are play grief incarnate in that game. Nobody will leave you be, no matter how big your group is, if you flag for PvP. Yo, what's good, Moosh? Well, I mean, like I said, somebody just asked me what happened to flag for PvP. It's better. You have to understand that when I said that in a certain context, Mithrax. I said, if you got the boys with you and you're pretty high level and you're going into other level areas where it's high level and there's not a lot of people, right? That can really help, right? It was 10,000 people, though. The last ranked person made like 20K. Oh, well, then I would definitely be on there. I was pulling that in like every month in 2020. So I would definitely be on there. You would just have to, you'd have to approximately know what my earnings were, and I'm probably just an unknown line somewhere on there. Like, I don't freaking care if I was on there and people knew what I was earning. Like, that wouldn't bother me at all. I wouldn't want more private information out there. That would be obviously a little scary. So, in the future, will you be able to take your main to another server? They're going to give you one server transfer for free. They've not outlined the details of that just yet. They're preparing for it or whatever. I see level 50 dudes in the starter areas flagged for PvP. There's no way they aren't griefing. Yeah. If you go to less populated areas because it's a high-level area, there's less people there, and you flag, you might be able to get away with it. You'd get some good XP. The other thing I said is, if you're going to like go outside the town and chop trees down and hunt animals and harvest rocks, you might as well flag for the extra XP. Because if somebody comes and kills you, you might win the fight, you might not, and who cares? You're right next to the town. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just for the XP would be the only reason that you're doing it. You know what I mean? Isn't it every 120 days for a server train? I thought that was every 120 days for the faction or whatever. Was that you could change your faction every 120 days. They had a transfer tab in the store, nothing in it yet though. Okay. I wish there were server stats in New World, like how many people are on the server, how many people are online, how many people in each faction, and so on. Oh, it would be really nice to be able to see the map before you join a server. Yeah. Because if you're like, dude, I'm purple, I don't want to join some server that's nothing but green on the map, that'd be so demoralizing. GameWiz says, the main quest I don't like is the faction rank up that says at 20 you can go rank up in the quest location. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit ago, that glitched quest. Yeah. We were talking about that because you get the quest for the dungeon at like 20 or 21, but you can't really do it until you're 25. And we were talking about like how it does feel like some of the quests are bugged and glitched. I don't think the dungeon quest is an example of that. I think the dungeon quest is just, no, this is a target for you to aim. But yeah, that faction quest bug was weird. It's like, I don't know. Somebody made a good point this morning. I think it might have been distorted. This game was originally not going to have a lot of those PvE elements, so they're going to be the least polished. You know what I mean? Do you lose anything particular if you die in a PvP fight? I don't know. I think your stuff gets damaged. Like, you might have to repair it. I don't know. What happens when you die from a PvP fight? If there's a high-level guy flagged in an early zone, they're doing faction PvP missions to increase their faction influence to start a war to take over the area. It's not glitched. It's just not explained at all. You have to go visit the rep in Brightwall. Yeah, it never tells you to go talk to him. I had to freaking Google it. I was like, I hit 25, and I was like, okay, I still can't see this thing. Where am I supposed to go? And people are like, you have to talk to this guy in this place. And I was like, but he doesn't have a thing above his head. Like, what? Nothing happens. In fact, you take less armor damage when you die in PvE. Oh, okay. I did the dungeon quest at level 21 just fine. It was fun. Could be longer, but I still enjoyed it. Well, the people that are struggling to get in at 21 are struggling because they can't get a group to take them, which is understandable. It's understandable. You can do it at 21. I don't want to make it sound like you can't do it, right? What'd you get if you win a PvP fight? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Once you talk to him, you get a marker. That's correct. Once you talk to him, that's the part of the quest that's busted. It's like it doesn't tell you got to be 24, and then when you are 24, it doesn't tell you to go talk to him. You're just like, what the frick? It just says go to this place, and you're like, okay. So a lot of people are having to look that one up, which, who knows, there could be more bugged quests waiting for us, you know. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the show, there's a variety of ways to support the show. You could use the shirt command if you like my Led Zeppelin shirt or all the cool gaming shirts I wear throughout the week. Use the shirt command. Make sure and use my code over at 80s Tees. The Displate command will take you to Displate. You can buy anything over there and get my discount. You don't have to buy from my recommendeds, right? Pretty good Displate discount there from anything on the site. And then we have our coffee. We had 3 orders yesterday. We try to get 3 orders every day. This is ours, by the way. I own this. This is mine. This shows up to my house, and my wife and kiddos ship it to you. We got the dark roast and the light roast. The reason people really like it is because both are balanced acidity, so very drinkable. I've even had people say they're not really dark roast fans, and they like the dark roast. It's the same flavor, just one's a light roast, one's a dark roast. Use that coffee command. Maybe consider becoming a member by clicking join or using the join command. Those are all of the variety of ways you can support. It is free to hit subscribe. It's also free to press like. We're almost at 200 likes. Is the Eden server you're on highly populated? It is. It is highly populated. We haven't been dealing with queue times now. And everyone's going to say, oh, it's because of the AFK. I don't think so. I just think we're hitting equilibrium. I think people's behavior is dissipating. You know, that's why. There was still, even after the AFK mitigation, there still can be queues anywhere from like 60 to 100, but they certainly have gone down. And I just think it's part of the game. I just think that's part of what happens. The first week is a mad dash, and then people start slowing down. You know, their gameplay sessions aren't as lucrative because they're higher level. Everything kind of gets a little bit slower, so they're a little bit more, prone to, taking breaks. They're like, man, I'm getting burned out. I really put in the time that first week, and then, life kind of goes back to normal. New World would be great on consoles. Yeah, I think New World would be phenomenal on consoles. I really do. I think New World would be really good if they could get the controller right. I think that would be the big thing, is get that controller right, because that would be the biggest barrier, That would be the biggest barrier. For winning PvP, you get the occasional title or progress toward one. Other than that, you get a little more XP and a lot more weapon mastery for every PvP kill versus PvE. From Friday? Yeah, From Friday should be happening this week. Yes, it should be happening this week. We should be able to land that and get that locked in. I think what we're going to do on Friday, because of Metroid Dread, I think what we're going to do on Friday is we're going to do a really short talk show in the morning about we're going to do a real short talk show about New World and then jump in, right? We'll jump in and then just play New World. And then we'll flip over, play some Metroid Dread, and then we'll flip over and do some From Friday. So that the talk show can start to become quasi-talk show gameplay like we used to do with Destiny. I don't know, the New World controller community might try to cancel Sony and Microsoft if they bring it to consoles. Yeah, they'll try to claim it's theirs, yeah. Yeah, they'll try to claim that you can't have that. You can't have controller support. We made that up. Are you planning to put in any time on... What's good, Ginger? There he is, the controller guide bandit. Put any time on New World on the weekends if it continues to do well. I think it'd be fun to have some company members squatting up on the weekends. No, I don't work or play on the weekends. The only time you're ever going to see me work or play on the weekends if there's a very, very specific reason. I made that change when we moved into this house about 1.5 years ago, and I ain't going back, During E3, we did some streams on the weekend to cover E3, and those are times where you'll see me make an exception. But I'm not going to make an exception to play. There's plenty of you. You don't need me. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of you. And the hope would be if the server starts to get a little bit easier to get into, we start to add more members and start to get more people to join the company. We're at like 27 or 28 or whatever. The dude making all the noise reached out and publicly apologized, so good news to start a Thursday. Well, it's good that some people are, have the ability to apologize when they're wrong. I think you lose that ability when you stream Destiny on Purple. I think that gets cauterized. Like you lose the ability to apologize when you're wrong. But, yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was watching the video and I was like... I shut it off after, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 minutes because I was like, this is so stupid. Like, I knew nothing was going to come of it, right? It was late, and I just wanted to, watch it and make sure nothing serious was going on. And I was like, this is not serious at all. This just sounds stupid. You know what I mean? Lono woke up this morning and chose violence. Do you ever play games on your own just for fun? Yeah, my wife and I have been working through Sackboy's Adventure on PlayStation 5, and we started the first Overcooked last night. We beat like every square inch of Overcooked 2. We really enjoyed the Sackboy Adventure game. It was really, really fun. And we booted up and played a little bit of the first Overcooked last night. We like those games as well. We are on the lookout for a new co-op game though. We played the snot out of that Sackboy game. It was really, really fun. I don't think Madam likes Overcooked. I don't think she likes it. We played Overcooked 2 so much she's like burned out. She's overcooked by Overcooked. Overcooked is overdone. There you go. I just would love a really, really good game that is basically like Diablo. I don't want to play Diablo again. I can't do it. I can't play Diablo anymore. I would love to be able to sit down on the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X and just dungeon crawl and get loot and have our characters and have a sense of investment. Like, that's all I really want, is a really, really good local co-op, loot-based dungeon crawler. And it seems extremely hard to get that. Because Torchlight... We'd have to set up 2 different systems to do Torchlight. It doesn't have local. Path of Exile. Is Path of Exile local console, and would it be enjoyable? I've heard it's like super grindy. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts about having mounts work only on roads and trails? Also, ever tried Ark for co-op? I don't think we would like Ark for co-op, because I think it would be like... I know it's a lot of chopping down trees and building, and I think she would just check out mentally. She'd be like, I don't like this. Poe doesn't have local. Yeah, we need local. I don't want to have to set it. If I can get a couple of these computers fixed, I've got a couple. I called a local computer place that can work on the computers that are having some problems. I know that opens up a whole lot, because then we could just take a computer, set it in the living room, run some cables for the controllers. And there's some good, local co-op games there in Steam. But yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes open, because like we did the whole Diablo seasonal character grind, and it was super fun. And then you complete like the 3rd or the 4th chapter, and then it's like it's all this stuff that you have to do on your own. I'm like, what the frick is the point of this? Like, why would you have that? You know what I mean? Have fun with this skill tree? No thanks. No. Yeah, okay. Here's my thoughts on mounts. All right, we may do this as a talk tomorrow, because it seems to be coming up quite a bit, and the faction thing's coming up quite a bit. Maybe we'll talk about factions tomorrow. We could talk about the faction balance problem. How factions overtaking a server are a severe threat, I think, to longevity of engagement, because I think people will get freaking sick of it. She didn't like the Ascent. Yeah, the twin-stick shooter thing threw her off. Whenever she played as I didn't realize that this was true. Whenever she played as a Demon Hunter, the Demon Hunter, you literally just shoot, and then, like, you just use the same direction, right? So, like, with the Demon Hunter, you pull down the button to shoot, and you just turn the same joystick. The minute she had to do a second joystick for shooting, it threw her off. She didn't like it. And so the Ascent didn't work out, which was a bummer, because I was enjoying it, but she wasn't. This is every button on the controller, like I'm not trying to fly an airplane. Yeah, she didn't like it. At first I was kind of annoyed with her. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you play as a Demon Hunter in Diablo. How can you not do twin stick shooter? She's like, I'm telling you. She's like, this is not how the Demon Hunter works. So I'm not kidding you. We booted up Diablo, and I picked her character and played, and I was like, oh, you're right. I'd never played as a Demon Hunter on controller. I was like, I didn't realize it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've been holding off on It Takes Two. Because I know, me and Hilly played it. And so I was like kind of waiting. I think we would enjoy it, but I wanted to put some distance there. We like games with loot. I mean, that's the big thing that my wife and I like. We like games with loot. And I tried to do Borderlands 3 again, and I'm telling you, we got to that city with the the big giant wheel vehicles. We got to that city, and I had an inventory busting with loot that was 3 levels beneath me, and I was like, frick this game. You know what I mean? I was like, frick this game. I couldn't do it. I was like, we basically just won Borderlands, but we played Borderlands 1 and 2 in the pre-sequel so much. Tiny Tina's soon? Soon? That's like April. It's a lifetime from now. So, yeah. It's just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things. Titan Quest has local co-op, I think? Huh. Add mounts so much that they wrote lore into the game to explain why no mounts. Minecraft Dungeons? We liked Minecraft Dungeons, but the minute we got to adventure mode, I just got turned off. The creepers ruin it. That game's difficulty scales, it's terrible. It is freaking terrible. It's like, fun. This is pretty fun. Let's up the difficulty on adventure mode and let's get some better loot. And like, creepers just ruin it. They just come out of nowhere and then you die. Oh, Tiny T's is March? Oh, okay. I thought it was April. April's a lifetime away. Tell that to Wolverine. Right. Farming sim. I don't know. There's a farming game on Xbox that looks kind of cute and charming, and we could like build our own little farm, but like, I don't know. I just don't know. Far Cry 6 can be co-op. I got it installed on the PS5. I mean, we could try it. Because I'm not going to be able to finish that game on stream. There is no way I'm going to be able to finish that game on stream. I promise you that. That ain't happening. You missed the first part of the mount message. They gave up the opportunity to make money on mounts in the cash shop because of how they don't want to do mounts. The entire server was arguing about mounts yesterday. Let me roll it out to you. The game is not built for or designed around the mechanics of enhanced movement of mounts. Amazon doesn't want to. Right, so yeah, I was going to give you guys my thoughts on mounts. You have to understand something about New World. There's an entire ecosystem of travel that they have built that mounts would disrupt. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they need Ghost co-op where Hilly can play as your horse. Ghost of Tsushima co-op would be really wild because, I mean, you can basically play co-op in Legends, but it's very, very different. It's very limited. So they built an entire ecosystem. So like, you can't suddenly have people riding horses and bears and tigers that are like really, really fast. The only way they could do mounts in New World, it would have to be a marginal speed increase and maybe give you like a pack mule. Like, you could put some tote bags on your horse, and maybe you could store a few extra things in it. They'd have to build a whole system for that. They don't have a system for that right now, right? So I just don't think it's possible. They built an ecosystem of there's an economy, there's money, there's benefits of housing and inns and all these different things that are built around the way that you traverse in New World, and mounts would disrupt that. It would not fit at the moment. You know what I mean? If they do mounts, I say take your time and build out a cool system that players like. Right, and you can't disrupt everything they've built, where all of a sudden, all the stuff that you've worked on, your Azoth extractor tools, and your house, and your inn, and your storage in just the right places, and all your stuff, all of a sudden that goes out the window if you can like ride like the wind bullseye and charge out over the horizon. Like, you can't disrupt it. You cannot disrupt that you can't disrupt that ecosystem. You just can't. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. They put so much time into how the game works and flows. Mounts just don't fit right now, Mounts would break PvP. You'd have to have them maybe, do something like Death Stranding where you just drag a pack behind you. Yeah, I don't know about that. Imagine a war with a whole team riding bears. Unless you're using Azoth as mount fuel, I don't know. It doesn't seem like mounts fit. Like I said, they'd have to be like the teeniest bit faster the teeniest bit faster than walking, running, or whatever it is that they call us, what we do. It's like we're kind of running, you know what I mean? It could get attacked at random and everyone has to protect it. Here's your mount. Build a caravan that players can ride and it'll take you from town to town. 30% faster. I'm talking like the teeniest bit faster. The teeniest bit. You can't, I'm telling you, you can't do that. You can't set up an entire ecosystem of travel and then suddenly be like, oh yeah, here's a horse and it's 30% faster. Well, then you'd never fast travel. You just set your horse to auto run. You just run out across the terrain and you'd get to where you're supposed to go in no time. Some of these, you know, the pain of fast travel is meant to be like a, do I want to do this or not? Is it worth it to hoof it? Is it worth it to save? Like, I better make sure and keep my Azoth, you know, up. At the very least, allow me to tame an animal for a companion. I want a pet lynx. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Put a pet lynx in your house, right? You can have pets in your house. Right now, I just have the dog. They designed the entire game. It was built with no mounts in mind, with no intention of adding them. It would just break the game. They don't fit. I don't think mounts are good enough as a game mechanic to disrupt what they've built. Right? I don't think they're good enough. As a mechanic, mounts they're not that cool. Like, they're cool, but they're not cool enough to disrupt the entire game. You know what I mean? I think they'll come out with mounts once the areas expand. I mean, it's possible that some of the late game fast travel pain is because maybe in their mind, eventually the map will be so big and you'll have to travel so far that at that point it makes sense to let people have, you know, a mount. And then it's in a context that makes sense. It's like, oh, well, fast travel had become such a nightmare in the late game of New World, you know. New World fast travel is limited on purpose, but then people are saying you get to the late game and it's just like insane. It's like you can't, it's so expensive. Unless you're using high amounts of Azoth, and then at that level of the game you're getting a high turnover, like you're getting it back, you know. The northern part of the map looks to be in progress, could easily be expanded upon. I'm talking north of the northernmost playable area. Right. It would just start to, you would probably want it to mushroom out, which might be tough because there's water everywhere. You know, you get out to the outer edges and it's not like you can't go over there because there's a fence. It's water. You know, maybe there'll be areas you travel to by boat, like you go over there and you, like, you know, you hop on a ferry and the boat takes you across. I don't know. It seems strange that they didn't build mounts in the game from the get-go. It's a head-scratcher. Well, it's not a head-scratcher if you think about what this game was originally designed to be. This game was originally designed to be just open-world PvP whenever you want it. You know, you're going to go do a quest, you're going to go work on something, you're going to go chop down some trees. Yeah, well, hopefully nobody kills you. And I think in that realm, they said, we can't have mounts. We can't. It'll give people too much freedom of traversal, and they can just kind of quickly run around and find anybody harvesting, hunting, hitting a tree, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Imagine having a motorcycle and just like you're just paroling the area, and you're like, oh, there's somebody. Hop off the motorcycle, wham, chop them down. You know, hop back on your motorcycle. I'm not saying they would give you a motorcycle. I'm just giving you a visual of like that level of mobility in a game where there's tons of potential PvP. I don't think it would have worked well. They were probably like, no, everybody's got to kind of be on foot, you know. Got to be as balanced and as even terrain as we can give it, you know. It was a PvP game with no PvE originally. Yeah. With no PvE in mind, mounts probably just didn't square with the PvP open world MMO. It was like, no, you're going to give people too much You're going to give them too much freedom, too much speed of movement, That would be that's more than likely why from the ground up they just never intended to put it in there, I don't care enough to argue like in favor or against. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't care enough. I can see why it wouldn't fit. I could probably argue that they'd be bad for the game right now. You feed your horse Azoth like Link feeds his bike ancient screws. You can use the follow-up oh, you're talking to Fuzzy. I thought I saw a dev make a comment that they felt mounts would make the world feel too small. Well, right, they also said that. I believe there's the reasoning is multifaceted, okay? The reasoning is multifaceted. They didn't want to feel too small. But initially, that might have been more related to the PvP aspects. They didn't want you to have such quick access to anybody in a 1,000 kilometer, area, a 900 meter area. You can just kind of like roam around on your horse and just irritate the fire out of people. Now, they could do something with like an ethereal creature that runs on Azoth, that like you spawn it and it costs Azoth and you can move from one area to another pretty quickly. Because in your mind, you're like, well, I don't necessarily want to fast travel right now, or maybe you can't, but I really, really need to travel 2,000, kilometers or whatever, and I'm gonna use some Azoth to speed that up. And like you spawn like a, like an ethereal kind of ghost-like elk, and that elk runs on Azoth, and you're just kind of trotting out across the way. I mean, they could do something like that because it would tie it to the ecosystem. It would tie it to the economy, and it would keep people from just doing it all of the time. Get out of jail free card. If you got your Azoth topped up and you're flagged for PvP, you can be like, boom, I'm out of here. Here comes a brute squad. I'm leaving. I'm bouncing. That could certainly be how they decide to square it. You could also just allow using mounts. Not allow using mounts when you're flagged for PvP. Yeah, you could. You could limit when people want to do it. You could limit when people, want to, nope, you're flagged for PvP. Here are some things that get disabled when you do that, Oof. Oh, I got a pretty decent back crack. That felt so good. If you guys are enjoying the show, it's free to hit subscribe. It's free to hit the like button. We are a variety gaming channel. We have been doing a lot of New World coverage and New World gameplay. We will be playing Far Cry 6 this afternoon. We will be playing Metroid Dread tomorrow. The talk show that you're watching right now takes place in the morning. It's usually 2 to 3 hours long. And we are a safe for work broadcast, so it's kind of like radio. People put me on in the background while they're playing New World or grinding or whatever. So if you think this is a great place and a happy home, hit subscribe. You can talk in my chat. You can take our poll. You can join our Discord server. Anybody can get in the Discord server. If you are a paying member, you can get... If you're a paying member, you can get increased access in the Discord as well, especially if you're looking to play lots of games with lots of people in the community. I got a story-based Final Fantasy co-op game that you and your wife might like. It's like Pokemon. It's called World of Final Fantasy. I used to play this game with my girlfriend. It has fairly good reviews. World of Final Fantasy? What platforms is it on and how old is it? World of Final Fantasy. It looks like it came out in 2016. Role-playing game. Oh gosh, is it turn-based? Yeah, if it's turn-based, that's a no-go. Let's get the likes up, chat. I just started the wave. Who's with me? Thank you, Eric. In my opinion, limiting travel speed doesn't make a world feel bigger. It frustrates the player. I think the fast travel stuff is fine, but relying on players moving slow to inflate the map size is bad long term. I think it's more like this, Alarian. I think it's a well-built shopping mall, and if you give people bicycles and rollerblades, it just is going to make the shopping mall feel small and kind of cramped. Does that make sense? I don't necessarily think. I think you're flipping around the intentions, right? I think you're flipping around the intentions. Yeah, you have to order a bag of coffee to get into the company. I don't think they're saying, oh, we want the game world to feel big, so we're going to make you slow down, right? We're going to make you slow down. No, we build a world that is this size, and we can't let you travel any faster than this, or it'll really, really hurt the size of the game. You know? I love that analogy. Thank you. It's a pity that this game is so strongly focused on the PvP aspect. I bought the game, and now I'm not sure if I want to play. I've not touched PvP, and I'm having a great time, you know? Disappointing it was worth a shot. No. I appreciate you trying to thinking of a game for us, T-Bone. It's tough. It's tough to find a game that kind of fits the bill for myself and Madam. It really is. It's annoying when you fast travel and you still find yourself a ways to go from your next quest location. That's why I want mounts. I find that even though you have to walk places, it never truly takes too long. I think it is a matter of perception. Let me give you guys some perspective on travel in New World, okay? I got to a town, and I was turning a quest in, and it told me that the turn in for the quest was 100 meters away. And I thought, did I come to the wrong town? No. Once I had crossed the town, walked across it, walked past all of the tables and the NPCs, there was my quest turn-in. So walking from one side of the town to another was 100 meters, okay? So when you see that you have to go 900 meters, that's not that bad. That's just walking across a town 9 times. That's actually pretty quick. It doesn't take that long. Walk from one end of the town to the next. Put a marker on one side of the town, go to the opposite side, see how far it is. You're like, oh, it's about 100 meters. And walk from one side of the town to the other. That's not that bad. It's not that bad. So when you see 900 meters, you're like, oh my gosh. What? It doesn't take any time. It doesn't take that long. It's a perception thing. It's all in your mind. It's like, it's so quick. We were all over Brightwood yesterday. 1,000 kilometers, right? Oh, 870 meters. Like, oh my gosh. It went so fast. It took us an hour, maybe an hour and 15 to do like a junk ton of quests in that area. I don't know. Warhammer Chaos Bane's top-down looter along the lines of Diablo. Warhammer Chaos Bane. Okay, I'll try and remember that one. I feel like her and I played that already. That sounds familiar. I know we played a Warhammer game. I just want loot. I want visible loot on my character. You know what I'm saying? I wish games like Tales of Iron and Salt and Sanctuary weren't so tough, because like Salt and Sanctuary would be great, but it's it's freaking brutal. There's a ton of like looters that are like side scrollers you can like play together, but the combat is just it's just so brutal. I know we wouldn't have a good time. And I could cross that faster on a mount. But crossing that on a mount, like, is it really that big of a deal? Is it really? I feel like we're straining at a gnat. Like we're upending the entire, not necessarily you guys, but like I feel like people that are really banging on the mount drum, it's like you're straining at a gnat. There's a gnat in the room and you're doing everything you can. You're breaking out in a sweat to get this gnat, and it's like, it's just a gnat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just walking. It's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Been playing Last Epoch in early access, and it supports a controller. Just need to make that video now rather than later. Just do it, man. Just do it. Is Godfall co-op? I don't know if it's local co-op. We would need local, right? The mounts, in my opinion, would ruin the flow of the game. Traversal is a large part. As you're walking to the next quest, oh look, a tree to cut down, boulder to pick at. That's exactly right, right? You could try Dragon Age. It isn't for everyone, but I like 1 and the Inquisition. The DLCs were so good. Can you play Dragon Age Inquisition local? Can you play that local? That one actually would be pretty good. I remember playing that. I remember liking it. I don't think you can play it local co-op though. That's our biggest challenge. GameWiz says, I'm not buying a house until I can get the biggest house for the discount. That's actually a good strategy. That's actually a really, really good strategy. Wait and buy the biggest house. No, yeah, that's not bad. So then you get the biggest bang for your buck, you know. I don't think it has multiplayer. Divinity Original Sin has local co-op. Yeah, we didn't like that one. That one was just uber complex and not streamlined. We went running back to Diablo 3 after we tried Divinity Original Sin 2. We tried it. Biggest house with the biggest taxes. Hey man, hey, look. You buy that big house, you got to pay taxes. If you're new and you're just tuning in, we're talking about the basics of housing. If you've got questions, comments, or ideas, this person says, the reason that you could... Oh, it's Matanagi. What's good, Matanagi? The reason you couldn't aim on controller, and I found out why. There is clearly zero aim assist on this game on controller. I could not hit my targets for the life of me, and I've been hitting targets for 10 years on Battlefield on controller. I love the franchise, but the issue I'm seeing with the beta is lack of aim assist, forced crossplay against PC players, horrible control schemes. It's also an absolute nightmare to try and select your spawn point in the menus on controller, flipping between 3 and 4 different spawn points except the one that you want. Okay, so it sounds like controller is maybe even actually having issues in Battlefield. One of those Baldur's Gate games where really fun co-op. Yeah, there's got to be one. It needs to be just modern enough. I don't want it to feel like Diablo 2. Diablo 2 just felt so clunky and dated, you know. I'm talking about Resurrected. It just felt so clunky and dated. I couldn't do it. You want to live like a king, you got to pay to live like a king. That's right. Funny enough, Divinity Original Sin 2 was the game my buddy recommended our group plays before we got into D&D. Oh. Yeah, we played it, and it literally just drove us into the arms of Diablo 3 Seasonal. I was like, this is too complex. This is too complex. You know what I mean? Does it need loot? For my wife and I, yeah, I would like it to be loot. I would like it to be a loot-driven game. Loot dungeon crawler, looter shooter, any of those would be great. Any of those would be great. Jiminy. Looks like we, yeah. Yep. Thank you guys for the good turnout. I appreciate it, man. I like seeing a solid and predictable turnout for repeated coverage. We need Diablo 4. Yeah. You nailed it. I was so disappointed with Diablo 2. Was so excited to relive those memories and got hit with a dose of reality. It just didn't age well. Yeah, they need to get rid of the stamina bar and let me stack potions. It would really, really help. It would really, really help. You know? A Souls-like loot-based dungeon crawler you might try is Necropolis. But if it's Souls-like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Deep Rock Galactic. Yeah, maybe. Is that loot-based? Deep Rock Galactic. I don't think that's loot-based, is it? Cooperative first-person shooter video game developed by a Danish independent studio. It was fully released in 2020. I think it's just, yeah, it's a co-op shooter. It's procedurally generated in 100% destructible areas. Yeah, I don't know. Necropolis. Yo, it's good, Wheezy. There's literally something called Necropolis Brutal Edition, an action roguelite role-playing video game developed by Harebrained Schemes. It's a rogue. No. We can't do that, dude. My wife and I can't play a freaking rogue. That would not work. I thought it might be fun to play like a rogue. The graphics look really cool for Necropolis too. It actually looks pretty dope. But I don't think a rogue would work. I think we'd get frustrated by it. Cause I got Children of Morta I was gonna try with her, but the beginning is just so inaccessible and so like it's not a streamlined opening. So I thought, oh yeah, we'll just play every night and see how far we can get. That might be fun. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't think a rogue's going to work for us. So keep Last Epoch on your wish list. It's a very good ARPG that will be getting multiplayer support upcoming. Last Epoch? Yeah, I gotta get these PCs fixed so we could have a gaming rig in the living room. I definitely need to do that. We need to get a gaming rig back up and running in the living room. Registros Dark is out of stock. No. Is it saying that? That might be a mistake. That might be a mistake. Last Epoch is dungeon crawling, engrossing character customization, travel through world. It looks pretty cool. Yeah. That's a Steam game though, so we'd have to get it. I need to get a gaming rig in the living room. Let's see. Dark Roast. No, 352 in stock. It says. Yeah. I was going to say, it could have been a mistake, but no. 352 in stock, and the Light Roast's got 331 in stock. Yeah. We got plenty. Might be me. It could have been a glitch. Yeah, just maybe refresh. All the recent reviews are very, very positive. Recent reviews and all reviews are very, very positive for Last Epoch. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that does look pretty good. That does look pretty good. It's not bad. Not bad. Yo, what's good? Always snacking. Chronicon on Steam. Once we get a rig. Shared split screen co-op. Chronicon. Action RPG, loot, hack and slash RPG indie. Oh, that one does look pretty cool. Oh, there's that one. There's that one coming from there's that one with that's made by the guys that make Guacamelee, right? They're making a dungeon crawler that looks really, really freaking cool. And I don't know when it's coming out, right? No, I care about Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Do you want to know what my prediction about Tiny Tina's Wonderland is? You want to know what my prediction is? It's gonna be more beloved and more praised by the Borderlands community than Borderlands 3. That's what I think is gonna happen. I think people are gonna be like, you're gonna see the headlines, the reviews, everything. They're gonna be like, Borderlands Tiny Tina's Wonderland is surpasses Borderlands 3. That's what people are gonna say. That's just the theory that I have. I think it's going to be more fun. I think it's just going to be like it's going to feel more like Borderlands. I'm telling you right now. Haven't even bought BL3? Yeah. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is going to be more praised by the fans. I don't think it'll be more commercially successful because Borderlands 3 had an insane marketing strategy. Like their marketing budget and their marketing push was big. So I don't think Tiny Tina's will be more commercially successful in sales, but I think it'll be better praised and more loved by the community. I do. Number one, it's Tiny Tina. You know, everyone loves Ashley Birch. She's a treasure, and I just think it's going to do what Borderlands does best. It's just going to be a fun looter. You know what I mean? Coming November the 6th, Paw Patrol will have co-op. Oh, my kids will love that. A Paw Patrol game? Oh my gosh. They will eat that up. They will be so excited. That game looks adorable. Yeah, they will love that. My wife and I would not play that. There it is. Nobody Saves the World. Yes, that game looks so awesome. Nobody Saves the World. Early 2020. Oh, it looks so great, dude. Put that one on your wish list. Guacamelee 1 and 2 are easily some of the best Metroidvania games you can play, and Nobody Saves the World's coming from the developers Drinkbox Studios, early 2020 release, and it just looks phenomenal. It looks so good. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. It looks great. You know what your kiddos should be excited about? All those cool drawings they're going to be able to send out with the Rageless Roast orders. That's right. That's right. You get a drawing from my kiddos for your Rageless Roast orders. And it is my son's birthday today. It is. He turns 6 today, and we're doing like a party on Saturday, and my wife's got stuff planned for him throughout the day. So really, if you guys order some coffee today, it would be for him for his birthday. I was just looking at your website. Hats off to you and Creature. It's really professional and well done. Are you considering adding more shop-like merch? It's so hard to add merch. We have a merch store, and Spring takes care of it all, right? Spring takes care of it all. I don't want to have... If we were to do our own merch, that means I'd have to have a local place make it, and then I'd have to ship it to you, and I'm not interested in doing that. Creature wants me to do it, and I'm like, frick, no. Frick, no. No. The coffee is enough. I got boxes of coffee in my house. That's enough. And we're about to have the Frickmas roast. That should be shipping very, very soon. We'll open up orders once it's on hand. And then we're working on a select blend of Rageless Roast that'll be more expensive, but it'll be a higher quality coffee. Get your son to write what the drawing is on the bottom or on the back. My wife tries to do that. She tries to do that, but sometimes I think they forget. Yeah. Just got here, Lono. I saw your tweet. Is crap about to go down? If the complete compromised state of the purple platform, if that... Oh, yeah, I always forget about Co-Optimus. Co-Optimus is a great website to like filter and look for co-op games. I might need to just use that later to find us a game. So if everything was compromised, if all communications, whispers, and everything was compromised and gets released to the public, then I should be able to make a very clear case that not only was I innocent, but there are some really bad people that did very bad things to other people. Enough to hopefully spark investigations into the organizations. Because I would love to see Purple investigated. I would love to see Rare Drop investigated. And I don't think that's going to happen unless there's actual evidence of the things that I know about. You need concrete evidence. And then you'd investigate and you'd find out about the business disruption and the favor trading and the targeted, blacklisting and marking for exclusion. These are all unethical and wrong things that I think the public should know about. And I hope that that's what comes of this. The real danger is that the entire compromisation of that website, it's so compromised now that the real danger would be people's personal information getting out. Like, people's safety is the greatest concern. I don't think I've ever heard you name them. I mean, I'm not really scared to name them. I mean, public representatives from that company lied about me and are guilty of libel and slander. They made public statements about me that are false, and I hope that they one day pay for it. Blocking someone and then publicly lying about them is total and utter wicked cowardice, and that's what they did. I had no idea. It was like 9 months later when I saw some of their claims. It was just wicked cowardice, man. That's what those men are. They're just wicked cowards. And what they did on that platform and working with that guy that got fired, I hope all that gets drug into the light. I really do. Because I think Purple deserves to be investigated, and I think they deserve to be exposed. So that's what I hope comes from it, and I hope nobody's safety or private information is compromised, because that's a greater concern, I think, is that somebody starts showing up on people's doorsteps like, I'm a big fan. Like, that would be not at all cool. Purple could be looking at severe fines and a big investigation. They could be looking at class action. Because of people's information being leaked like that. They didn't notify people in a fast enough time either, and so they could be looking at heavy fines. The platform could be in trouble, like long-term trouble. Like, everything is exposed. It hurts Amazon, it hurts AWS, their technology now. The secret sauce is out. Like, that's very, very bad in the tech world. the damage is going to be, it's going to happen in waves. It's going to happen in waves. And obviously, I have my own vested interest in, like I said, I was praying for that platform's destruction. I was. I didn't realize I was going to get such a concrete answer to that because it was, they didn't do right by me, my family, or my children. And I hope that the people that did wrong get what they deserve. And this very much could bring that about. It could. Just a heads up on the Mighty Goose game. If you're looking for a co-op game, that game's co-op is freaking terrible. It is terrible. The second player, now obviously if it's like a kid or something, maybe. The second player is like a duck that can't do much. Now you unlock other characters later, but the second character can't do all the cool stuff that the main Mighty Goose character can. So the co-op is a little limited there. It's not like two guys running around, you know what I mean? I don't think there's been a mass email to change passwords. I got an email from Purple, and they addressed me as Say No to Rage, and they said that my stream key had been reset. You can get a new stream key here. Like, I got an email, so my account is still there and active. I got an email and was addressed as Say No to Rage. They emailed everybody and said all of your stream keys have been reset. They make you a duck. There's other characters that you unlock for co-op, but, like, it's not true co-op. So, like, just a heads up on Mighty Goose. Just a heads up. So, do they know who was behind the breach? I've heard a couple theories. I think this theory is pretty sound, that this was an inside job to some degree. Ex-disgruntled employee or a current disgruntled employee. This kind of access is, this kind of access was, somebody gave him the skeleton key, brother. This is, I read an article from PC Gamer about it, and they're like, this is the absolute worst that a breach could be. It can't get any worse than this. Like, this is literally the worst it could be. How do you get that much? How do you get that deep? Somebody let you in. Or somebody on the inside did it. Took it all, stole it all. It's dev level. They said there's going to be some really hard questions for people, like, how does not a single alarm bell go off? Not a single alarm bell. Nothing to clamp down and protect. How does that happen? I'm telling you right now, disgruntled employee, disgruntled engineer, current or ex-employee, right? I said for the longest time about the people that hurt me and the people that abuse their power on that platform, you better pray there's never a disgruntled employee that decides to blow the lid off of everything that they know. This, ironically and strangely enough, is better than that, because that would just be one person's word. That'd just be somebody going to a journalist. This is basically a mountain of concrete evidence that could really expose wrongdoing. Corruption. If internal communications, there's a lingering hope that I have that their communications are compromised, because then we might find out who called in the favor on my channel, because I believe that favor was called in from Bungie. That's always been my theory, and if you could concretely prove that would be enormous, to actually be able to show and prove that there was no proper investigation. This was not handled properly. Nobody looked at anything. Nobody cared about anything. This was done as a favor to another company. That is corruption. Like, that is collusion with intent to harm. That is collusion with intent to disrupt a business. That is severe. That's not just like a twit longer where you called somebody a nasty name. That's deep level bad stuff. And so if that's compromised, then we're looking at big what would hope would be big news. People would actually freaking cover it. All these gaming news outlets are just cowards, and they wouldn't cover anything that happened to me, even in the wake of everything that happened, where the truth and evidence started coming out. Well, that's not interesting. They don't cover it because they're cowards. So we would hope maybe some international press would cover it if it got to that level. Because there are people that will cover what happened to me if we send it to the right outlets. There are people that don't give a rip about game developers. Like, oh no, we'll make that game developer mad. Yeah, there are news outlets and journalists who don't give a frick about that. So, and we know who to send the information to if we ever get our hands on everything, So, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, whoever did it, I think whoever did it's gonna be in big trouble. They're gonna be in big trouble. Whoever actually did the breach, you're looking at federal prison for that. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee from someone named Motazbo. My man, 3 dark roasts and a light roast. Appreciate that, Motazbo. Apparently they knew about this before the Facebook outage. Yeah, if they knew about the breach and so many days passed before anything was said, they confirmed it, right? They confirmed it. You're talking about fines, just pretty serious fines, and a potential class action lawsuit. I feel for the people that are over there making money, making their way, and are super nice and just trying to do their thing. I really do. I feel for them. Because there's a part of me that thinks this is the beginning of a forest fire that's going to scorch that entire platform. Like, done. Just gone. Shut down. Bankruptcy and scandal. Like, I don't know, dude. This is like, I don't think the scope of it has actually even been fully realized yet, of like what's actually going to happen to that platform. I don't think it's been fully realized. I think right now everybody's memeing and joking about their earnings being public, but I don't think people have fully realized what exactly has been exposed and what it'll lead to, And I always said, running a platform the way they run it, extremely unprofessional, inconsistent enforcement of TOS. They run it like a frat house. They do favor trading. If you're a pretty girl, you can break the rules. They make exceptions. They do not enforce their TOS equally. You want equality. Women want to be treated equally. Well, you're not treated equally on that platform. There are countless women who have broken the rules time and time again, and they just keep getting unbanned. And then you got guys like me that it's like infinite, eternal, permanent ban of a 5-year partner based on nothing other than some tweets. Like, that's insane to think about. And I always said, when you run a platform like that, it's going to come back to haunt you. It will. You cannot run a platform like that. You're running it low budget, understaffed, unprofessional, unqualified, and it's gonna come back. And boy, the chickens came back to roost with nuclear missiles. Like, it wasn't like a tell-all or like an investigation into like malpractice of like HR department or something. Like, no, the chickens came back to roost and they brought nuclear missiles. It's like, you're running this platform like a joke. And here comes the reckoning. And I'm just freaking here for it. I'm so here for it. Like, I hope no one innocent is harmed in the wake of this. I hope nothing bad happens to anybody who's just trying to make their way over there. But that platform made its bed. It did. It freaking made its bed. And now it can sleep in the filth of how they treated me, what they did to other people, wrongful bans and suspensions and targeted harassment and marking for exclusion, background deals and quid pro quo. You get to lay in that filth now. You just get to lay in it. Innocent people are going to be collateral damage? Yeah. You got a mansion in New World yet? No. I don't. We bought a house. We got a dog and we got some stuff. But we don't have a mansion just yet. Not just yet. I feel bad. I do. I feel bad. There are people over there that make a pretty good living. They make a pretty good living over there. And welcome to the hate watchers. There's that viewership spike because I'm talking about it. Oh, all your favorite streamers. They won't admit it publicly, but they're scared. They're scared. They know. They know what might get drug out. I kept telling you guys, give it enough time. The truth will come out. Skeletons will be drug into the light. And your heroes are dead. You just don't know it yet. Your heroes are dead. Carrying their flag and their banner and the private attacks on me and other people. Just wait. Just wait. You'll realize who you've been supporting and defending and believing. You'll realize very soon. If enough was compromised. If enough was compromised. Could be a lot of smoke and mirrors, you know what I'm saying? Could be a lot of smoke and mirrors. The hackers just could have gotten to like the financials and that's it. But from what all these security analysts are saying, this is massive. This is the biggest breach that you could possibly have. There's nothing left to breach. Why does it always bump? Because they always have a mole. They always have a spy in here, and then they alert a Discord somewhere. They have a communication circle that they alert, and they alert people, and then they come in and watch and probably record, hoping I'll slip up. They spied on me when I streamed on Purple. They just didn't realize that we knew they were doing it. We had an alert system. We knew when we knew when certain people were watching the channel. And without fail, people from that circle would watch the channel, and then trolls would show up and harass me and mess with me and say things to me and try to get me riled up. I have screenshots of one of them. I know it's their alt account, and they were trying to stir things up. They were always, and see, they painted me as the bad guy. They're like, he's always talking bad about us on these streams or whatever. So they're so manipulative. You don't even know. You don't even know how manipulative they are. They would intentionally send in someone on an alt and bring the subject up, hoping that I would take a shot or a passive swipe at them. Because what they wanted to do is they wanted to create a pattern in my behavior that made me look villainous. Like, oh, he was always attacking us and talking bad about us. I wouldn't. They would come in on their alt and be like, why aren't you involved anymore? And I'd be like, oh, we just parted ways, you know. Friendships just change. Friendships come and go. It's one of those things, blah, blah, blah. Would never mention them by name, would never slander them. Go read their tweets last year. They all tweeted and claimed, like, he would always talk bad about us to his streams. He always painted us as the bad guys. No, I didn't. And you would literally come into my stream on your alt accounts to try to get me to do it. That is freaking sinister. That's the kind of people we're talking about. That's the kind of behavior on that platform that they did. Sociopathic, manipulative, sinister, wicked people. And I'm telling you right now, all those whispers, if any of their communications or emails got compromised, boy, oh boy. Your heroes are dead is pretty extreme. It's from that song, Truthless Heroes. He says, your heroes are dead. Like, it's like basically like they're truthless heroes. There's no truth in them. And eventually they die. Like, as a hero. They're not going to be a hero anymore. They'll be seen as the villain. Read it, boy. Master Ty with 2 months. Hey, haters. 7 months from Reaper. Love the show, man. Keep it up. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we just got a 20-something viewership spike talking about it. Like, people are going to see, like, think about it from this perspective. Like, why would I be so confident that this breach could lead to good things for me? Why would I be that confident? You would only have that level of confidence if you were telling the truth. What do you think, I'm gambling? You know, well, I'm gambling that there was some bad stuff going on. No! I know it! I know it! Gonna get clipped and shared on Twitter? That's not that. You can't interpret that as a threat. You can't interpret that. I'm not gambling. I'm not like gambling like, well, I think there was some bad stuff going on. No. Nope. I know there was bad stuff that went on. It's all about to get drug out. Their response was some data was leaked. Yeah, 125 gig. Yeah. You'd be as shaken as they are if you had something to hide, I believe. Yeah, I mean, You had at least one person admit that, like, they pressured people for pictures or whatever, right? And, like, he said his little apology Twitter video. Just what else do you think might have gone on? What else do you think was going on? You know what I mean? Like, you saw my whispers. They showed the one whispers I had, you know. It's embarrassing, but other than being embarrassing, like, that's the extent of it. Like, imagine using your business connections to harm the business of another person, like harm the success of another person. You know what I mean? Imagine that being publicly known. The guy said that was only the first leak. Yeah, there's more coming. The size of the leak, I mean, they'll do it in waves. I just hope whoever it is has the decency and the humanity to be like, there's no reason to release people's names and addresses. Like, there's no reason to release that. That doesn't achieve anything. If you're trying to hurt people that are corrupt, or you're trying to hurt that platform, okay, the damage has begun. But have some humanity, have some sense, and some like respect for your fellow man, like, and other people's safety. There's no reason to release that. You're so lost. What happened? There was the biggest and most exhaustive data breach ever on the Purple platform. Like, everything got taken, right? You put it on a torrent for everyone to download. Wait, so everybody has full access to the full file? I thought he was releasing it in pieces. I didn't realize that. So the full thing is already in the possession of the public. I did not realize that. Asking a criminal to have a heart? Well, like, people, this isn't a Disney movie. People are not completely evil or completely good. There's a lot of in-betweens. Somebody can do something bad like that and still have the decency to say, I'm not gonna, you know, imagine somebody believes like a bank is corrupt and they do a data breach on the bank and they expose the bank's corruption, but then they don't expose people's personal information. Like, I believe that there could be situations like that. You know what I mean? I believe that. He's releasing it in pieces. The first was dropped on 4chan. Okay. Yeah, well. It's coming. Including all your passwords? Yeah. Somebody said something like that, the passwords or whatever. It happened at Wells Fargo. If Amazon could dump Purple, I bet they would in a heartbeat. We have to understand something. Amazon's technology has now been compromised. Like AWS. Amazon Web Services. You talk about trade secrets getting out into the open. You know what I mean? I'm against toxicity. Proceeds to do some of the most toxic stuff possible. Right. If things go south for Purple, then what do you think Amazon's move will be? I've been convinced that they've wanted to sell. I really do. I think that Purple's been given a directive to monetize their valuation as high as possible. See, what I think Purple's been doing, I think Purple knows that they were in danger of being sold. And I think what they're doing is they're trying to create data points of value because they want their valuation to go up. So they create like a litany of monetization data points. So people come in and they do bits. And now they're doing the thing where you can like pay to get suggested. Like, oh my gosh. All they're trying to do is court a purchaser to say, this is our user base size, and this is the average dollar amount per user that we are obtaining. Does that make sense? So you approach somebody wanting to buy your company, you're trying to create a price tag for yourself. And I believe all of their monetization innovation is purely focused on that. I've been saying that even before I got banned. I said that. I said, you're over monetizing the platform. And I said, it could be that Amazon wants to drop them. And then Amazon removed all of the Purple branding and they called it Prime Gaming. They took away the free ad, like they took away the ad-free viewing. They took away the branding. almost as if they're getting ready to cut ties and say, yeah, this is Prime Gaming. This is a part of your Amazon Prime subscription. Like, I got banned from Purple, but I can still cash in my Prime Gaming benefits. I can still get the in-game stuff, right? So that's what I've been theorizing, is that all Purple's been trying to do, and that's why they run so low budget. Like, all these people quit, all these people walked away, and it's like they're running on fumes. It's like there's no staff members at all. It's like you got DJ Wheat's like the head of Twitch Studio, and like they have him doing stuff. It's like they added to his job requirement. They have him doing like streams and discussing and doing Q&A and stuff. Like, they expanded his responsibilities. And before they did that, there were people that walked away from his department. They just left. And I don't know. I feel like it's because they knew this is not a good place to stay. This is problematic, right? This is problematic. This place is going south. You know, you have 16 people, ex-employees in like end of last year, come forward to a journalist and say there's all kind of inappropriate stuff going on over there, you know, and it's been mishandled. I think that they run on low staff, low budget, because I think their production cost makes them not so I don't think they're that profitable. They generate an insane amount of revenue, but I don't think that they're that profitable. Profitable meaning your revenue generation is great, but if the gap between your revenue generation and your operating costs, if that gap isn't very big, then no one's going to want to buy your company, right? We talked about this yesterday. If you've ever watched Shark Tank, they're always interested in that. How much revenue have you generated? How many units have you sold? And the person can say some number, and you're like, oh my gosh, holy moly, they're moving product like crazy. And then the next question they always ask is, what's your production cost? What does it cost per unit? What's your margin on every one of these cupcakes that you're selling? And if the margins are terrible, the sharks are like, your business is volatile. It's shaky. You're barely making a profit. Like, you're basically breaking even. And if we give you the cash to increase production isn't going to fix the margins. You can't just increase production, you have to decrease cost of production. Like, so a lot of the times the sharks won't bite. They'll be like, you're basically too thin. I'm out. You're not worth the investment. And if Purple's in a similar scenario, if their production is so high that their revenue generation isn't staying that far ahead of production costs, then they're having a hard time probably courting buyers. Buyers are probably looking at them and being like, absolutely not. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, you guys are leading in the streaming world. Like, statistically, you look great. But as far as profitability, not so much. I mean, Amazon sold you guys down the river in 2019. They said you weren't generating enough ad revenue for them. And what'd they do? Right? What'd they do? They went and increased ad saturation on the platform to the point that everybody complained. Right? Everybody complained. They're like, this is terrible. There's too many ads. Well, they basically got publicly drugged by their parent company. Even if it's not profitable, someone will still acquire them for the low enough revenue multiple. I don't know. Because if they're going to be, if the asking price from Amazon wants to recoup. Amazon's asking price could be too high. Because you got to think, they're only going to be able to court certain companies. Only certain companies are going to have enough money. And I got to tell you, Microsoft, they're not interested. They already took a crack. They're out. We're out of that business. We're out of that. Mixer didn't go all that well for us. Boom. So Microsoft's off the table. Who's left? What, like Apple? I mean, maybe? Maybe Apple's interested? I don't know. They got their own problems right now. Google? I don't think Amazon's going to want to sell something to Google. One of the main reasons they probably haven't sold is they don't want the tech exposed. Well, now that the tech's exposed, you wouldn't want to sell the platform to your competitor, because then your competitor would have access to your tech. And now, everybody has access to your tech. It's all out there. Your source code's out there. Facebook, I don't know. Maybe. They might be more motivated to sell now because they're like, look, it doesn't matter. Source code's out there. Sell to one of our competitors. Just drop this freaking platform, dude. No one will touch them with this new problem. That's the thing. Their valuation as a company just plummeted because it's like, are you kidding me? You just had one of the biggest, most exhaustive data breaches historically. Nobody's going to freaking buy you. Your pants are down. You got your pants pulled down in the public. What do you mean? Your valuation's terrible right now. I don't know. I can't see anybody wanting to buy them right now. What does Elite do to these cats that got exposed? Well, the concern would be that you're talking about you're talking about like, number one, it's dangerous for anybody's private information that got exposed. That's a danger, okay? To your safety and your sense of security and your privacy, which is all, those are all very important things. But even bigger, their tech, how it all runs. It's all out there now. Like Creature says, they ordered extra coffee pots at Netflix, Google, and Facebook, the three companies we'd never suspect yesterday. Those three companies are like, oh, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. Doc's numbers were still on there. Somebody said that people were assuming he was the one classified as unknown. When you underwrite the company, you just give it a haircut to take the data breach into account and use it as an opportunity to get a lower price. Like I said, no one or reputable note would buy them unless they're forced a lot of specific changes on them. I don't know. The reason it's damaging for Purple is because if the leaks fracture the community and make viewers less loyal to the platform. Oh, it's bigger than that, Sinos. It's bigger than that. It's not just about like people not being confident in using the platform and deleting their accounts. Like that certainly will happen, right? That certainly will happen. It's bigger than that. Bigger than that. Their tech got exposed. You know how damaging that is to a platform to have your tech exposed? Your source code? In the technology realm, that's like somebody getting your secret recipe. Do you see what I'm saying? Like there are actual like ingredient clauses that allow companies to protect their proprietary recipes. Why? Because they're valuable. They're extremely valuable. Somebody said yesterday they couldn't find Doc on the report. Yeah, I think the least of their worries is people being like, oh, I'm not confident in the platform anymore. I'm not going to go there, right? I'm not going to watch anymore. I think that's the least of their worries. You know, I think that's the least of their worries. They're far more concerned about having their pants pulled down publicly and having Amazon say, you just absolutely eviscerated our AWS value. Like, what the frick? What did you do? What did you do? Like, the power that one person, seemingly, I would say this was one person. One person opened the door, created a back door for themselves, something. This is an inside job. You don't get the access that this person had just because you're savvy. No. This was an inside job. Big time. I'm scheduling the next stream. We got stuck on this again today. Hang on. Getting the next stream set up. Visibility. We'll set it for 12:10 just so that people get to 30. Their biggest issue, their people's security, and you just got your source code shown to the competition. Start the timer. Right. You can't underestimate the amount of private money out there. Sure, there's a limited pool of publicity traded, U.S.-based buyers, but the private pool is much larger. Right, but you have to understand, in my mind, this is how I look at it, Demetrius. This is how I look at it. you've really, I don't think I put it in the playlist. No, I didn't put it in the playlist. You've really got to be able to turn a profit if you're going to buy a company that is got an asking price that is that high. The asking price is going to be pretty high, even if it gets chopped down a little bit. Even if it gets chopped down a little bit because of everything that happened, that asking price is going to be pretty dadgum high. And you try and get some like private, venture capitalist or a private venture capitalist firm to buy, you'd have a really hard time convincing them that it would be profitable. Number one, you've got the public embarrassment. Number two, you've got your intellectual property completely compromised and devalued. I just don't know. Yet people's accounts in other countries breach as well. Doesn't that escalate the issue? Yeah, because there's other countries have their own laws about this, and I don't think Purple handled it. I don't think they handled it properly. You have to notify within so much time, and they didn't. It had been like a day or two, somebody said. I'm like, what? It had been a day or two? That's a little crazy, right? That's a little crazy, because that's like fine. You're gonna get fined for that. Not only that's potential. Like I said, that's potential class action, because all these people could throw in and say, "Yeah, I'm suing you. We're gonna do a class action. We all deserve to be paid for this breach, because it impacted my life in a negative way." I mean, if anybody has like any identity theft problems from it, I mean, you're talking about that entire user base. You're talking about a class action lawsuit bigger than anyone that's ever existed. That entire user base could throw in on a class action. The entire dadgum user base, anybody that has private information on there, payment information, home address, any of that, could be part of a class action. That's it. That's bankruptcy. That's the end. Close the doors. Like I said, a lot of these people use the same email and password for other things. Right, you should be changing, if you use the same email and password all across all these different places, then change those too. Change those too. My internet's acting up, have to exit. Okay. Oh, you know what I should be doing? I should be making sure I can get in. Booting the game up. Making sure there's no queue. Epic Games sent out emails yesterday to change passwords. Yeah. Yep. You definitely need to. I can't even log in with mine. I might be able to log into like the help page, because I think that's where you go to like file your appeals and stuff. But I probably don't have the ability to like to change anything, because like I don't have, like, I have an account, but like I don't have an account at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Can you explain housing? Yeah, so the way housing in this game works is, in a town, anybody can buy the house. It can even have multiple owners, and when you go in it, it'll just show yours. You can explore and look at the other people's houses if you want. And it offers benefits. So when you own a house, there's 4 tier levels. If they're more expensive, they come with more benefits, but they also come with more weekly property taxes. Do a forgot my password? Might be able to reset the password that way. Maybe. They tell you that if you attempt to ever log in the site or use the site again after you've been suspended, that they'll make it permanent. So I've always been I'm afraid to try to log in. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I guess anybody could now. You know, anybody could now. And then that could be, they could be like, well, yo, you tried to log in. And like, no, I didn't. Like, you guys had a data breach. What are you talking about? Glad to see no queue. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, like they basically tell you that. They're like, yeah, if you try to log in, enter your email or phone number. I have two-factor turned on, but so I don't know exactly how you'd be able to get in without my phone. Having my password doesn't mean anything because two-factor's turned on. So they wouldn't be able to get in, I wouldn't think. I don't know. I don't want to mess with it. Like, I don't want to give them grounds to be like, it's so stupid too, because they tell you that and you have to log into their help page to file the ban appeal. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, there was no queue. I just got right in. And the AFK timer is like 20 minutes now, so I can log in and hold my place for the next 15 minutes and not have to worry about breaking their AFK timer or triggering it. I guess a warning message pops up or whatever. I'm actually sad new players can't join us on Eden. Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna work. Like, are we basically stuck? Is this it? Is this our server? You know what I mean? Is this basically the end? You know? Is this the end? Like, if they can't, because you would need people to offload. You would need people to leave. You would need people to leave in order to make room. You'd need a lot of people to leave in order for them to say, oh yeah, new players can make characters now. Do you know what I mean? I think that would be the biggest worry. So, until people leave the server. You would need such a large amount of people to leave, though. I think that would be the biggest fear and concern. That'd be the biggest fear and concern is you wouldn't necessarily even if people do start leaving, is that going to be enough? I would think you would need a significant number of people to leave. You would need a significant number of people to leave. Because if not, you're looking at, because I don't know what the tipping point was. They didn't really say. They didn't say like, oh, you know what I mean? The only people leaving your server are the ones losing the factions, right? And how many people on my server are green and they're just going to stay put? They're going to be like, we're rocking and rolling. You know what I mean? Because I mean, the green is basically, that's it. I mean, every green section has an upcoming war except for one, so that's good. 2 of them have upcoming invasions. 4 of them have upcoming wars. So the hope would be that like people just keep putting pressure on them and like, I guess make world domination annoying. Make world domination annoying. I had a similar concern. There's going to be a ton of ghost town servers out there. Very possible. Very, very possible. A new Wheel of Time poster is debuting today. Huh. Diablo 2 Resurrected gets a corrupted Amazon mod. Huh. Can we get a mod that... Can we get a mod for infinite sprint? Infinite sprint and potion stacking? Can we get that? That'd be great. 9 minutes ago, PC Gamer says, the purple platform is still struggling to comprehend the sheer scale of the hack. They're in a crisis as it blames a server error for the massive data breach. There was a blog that says, we have learned that some data was exposed to the internet due to an error in a server configuration change that was subsequently accessed by a malicious third party. Our teams are working with urgency to investigate the incident. As the investigation is ongoing, we are still in the process of understanding the impact in detail. We understand the situation raises concerns and we want to address some of those here while the investigation continues. How does that even happen? How boring would PvP if everyone or the majority of the people on the server is green? Right, it would start to just turn into like, well, nothing's happening. You got everything, so that's the end. You know what I mean? I don't know. They sit on a throne of lies. I mean, if a server error allowed it to happen, then I would think that the server error was manufactured by somebody. You know what I mean? Like, somebody manufactured that error and then got in. How would you even know unless you're constantly trying to get in? That seems crazy to me. Oh, and they're doing a WandaVision's Agatha Harkness is getting her own Disney Plus spinoff. It makes sense, right? It makes sense, dude. It makes sense. Everybody loved her. You know what I mean? Cash in on it. Cash in on the love. You know? Okay, I'm gonna run upstairs really, really quickly, use the restroom, and then we'll be transitioning in a minute here. In a minute, not right now. We can keep kind of talking and vibing or whatever. So I'll be right back. DJ Chair. Yeah, dude. All right, let me get myself out of this place. There we go. Okay. We got to make sure this redirect is set. Customization. Redirect. Okay. Okay. Tell us your wisdom, Chair. That's right. Yeah, let's make sure that this is featured. I think I featured it. I gotta make sure it's featured video. Customize. Yeah, we gotta change that. Okay. And then make sure. Publish it. All right. Share, copy, and then let's make featured on the other channel as well. We do have a premiere on the other channel of Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. We'll be watching that today when we're done over here. We're gonna do some New World, and then we're also going to be doing some Far Cry 6. So we're trying to sample, new games when we can. I don't think we're going to be able to complete Far Cry 6. We were doing these, extra slots of gameplay and giving ourselves that opportunity to, have this stream be a little bit shorter, so that then we could go later, if need be, to do those streams. And but I don't think that means we're going to be able to play Far Cry 6 to completion. That's just not a reality that we'll be able to utilize. So let's see. There we go. So we're in game. We're going to be working on the Syndicate support mission, which is a level 30 mission, and we have to go to Weaver's Den, which is where? Weaver's Fen, I'm sorry. Over here. Right here is where we're going. And so we can fast travel. So we'll fast travel up here, and then we'll head over. So if anybody's going to play with me, any of you guys that are going to be playing with me, we're going to be in Weaver's Fen. That is where we're going to be heading to work on that quest. And it should redirect you, but if it doesn't redirect, just a couple words on redirect that I think it is causing some frustration, confusion, as well as our viewership's not as strong as it could be when we redirect. When we go over, and you're sitting over there, after about 3 to 5 minutes, just refresh, because I'm probably streaming, okay? If you can hear my voice right now, and you ride the redirect, or you click the link in chat, remember that sometimes it doesn't autoplay once you get over there. So do me a favor, in 3 to 5 minutes, if you're over there and nothing's happening, just refresh. Don't just sit there and lurk and walk away. We get a ton of people to come over, and then a lot of folks just aren't there, more than likely because of that. Campaign gameplay. I'm getting a tweet ready as well to let people know where we are. Live, and then we go here. New World. Oh, did they end the? It looks like they ended the New World hashtag. The one with the. Yeah, it doesn't have the little symbol anymore. I liked that one. on Twitter. I like that hashtag on Twitter. So I'll see you guys over there for some New World gameplay, and then after the New World gameplay, we'll be checking out Far Cry 6. All right? I'll see you guys